All right, I'm here. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Happy Monday. Gotta double check, though, that it is Monday because that would be stupid if I was streaming on a day that I'm not supposed to. But yeah, how is everyone? Hope you've all had a good weekend. Time to do some art. I was really happy with last stream's painting. I think it turned out way better than I expected. Also, why does my volume feel so low? I don't know. Something is wonky. Maybe it's just that song. I don't know. Maybe that. Majar, yay art. Yes, absolutely yay art. Gotta readjust some stuff though. My desk, moving my monitor. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about today. I think I don't know. I was doing some thinking, and I want to do. Yeah, I was thinking about how much I actually paint because I was thinking, yeah, I don't really paint that much, but no, I guess I do. I mean, I do paint 3 days a week, 4 hours a stream. Even though it's not the highest quality, that's still quite a bit. That's almost 2 hours a day, like consistently. Like if we were to do the math and split it up, I don't know. So I guess that's pretty good. Um, and then of course I'm thinking about art all the time. So yeah, I guess I shouldn't. I don't know. I was thinking like, oh, maybe I should try to squeeze in like I already do additional art on the side as well, or off stream. But I was like, oh, I should even try to squeeze in more. Like, I don't know. I do a pretty good chunk. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing squeezing in more, but I guess I don't want to feel guilty about it. I wish I had more time to do art, only a little time for other hobby. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing when you say, I wish I had more time for something. It's really more like I'm prioritizing other things over it but that's not a bad thing. You should prioritize other stuff over, you know, some things. Like not every, yeah, it's hard to have time to do everything you want to do, and so you have to start cutting things out, and then you regret doing that, and it's hard. It's definitely a difficult thing to do. Alrighty, time to do some painting. Let's So I think maybe I'll start with. I kind of want to paint some animals today. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna see. I'm just gonna start sketching some compositions in black and white. Maybe. What I want to paint like a bear or something. I don't know. Just gonna make some shapes and some stuff back here. I don't know. Maybe not animals. I don't know. I'm not actually sure. Don't hold me to anything. I'm not sure what I want to paint. But I want to. I think I want to paint stuff that has. Will there be probably not? There's probably not even going to be animals, to be honest. I'm already backpedaling here. Hey, Kath, how are you? Neo, hope you're doing well. Crunchy, hope you're also doing well. I mean, I hope everybody's doing well, but I'm just trying to vary up my greeting. Oh wow, yeah, I'm already going backwards on what I think I'm gonna do today. Kath, how are you? How's the Monday? Hi, Joe. This looks like a nice caterpillar, Joe. Yeah, totally, a nice caterpillar. Definitely. Now I'm gonna just play around with composition for a moment. Some lines leading into the composition. It's rainy, and I have a good book and a cozy blanket. Nice. That's awesome. I am basking in wait, what? And sadness. No animals, how dare you? Dang. I don't know why, but the term basking, I always think it's like, basking in the sun. And so basking in disappointment and sadness. That's intense. Now there might be animals. I'll put how about this? I promise to put at least an animal in here. I can't guarantee I'll be painting, like, I can't guarantee that the focus will be on the animal, but it will. I'll put an animal in at least one of the paintings. That's my compromise. Alright, I'm trying to just think of composition. Have shapes lead, but I don't want it to lead too obviously. I'm sipping on hot cocoa and drawing, so I shall go into your regular lurk and get cozy. Nice. And as always, Crunchy, it's mandatory that you share what you are working on. As always. If you want. It's mandatory if you want. If you don't want, it's not mandatory. I know how people draw worlds on the back of a turtle. What if giraffe? Ooh, that would be cool. Maybe they have lots of ladders up to get to the top of the head. They have like a little lookout. It's the the turtle is all about stability, but like in times of non-stability, you have the lookout tower where they keep an eye on things up on the top of the draft, where they lots of towers and little pulley systems. Mandatory optional, exactly. Tenzink, how are you? The light gray shape on the side looks like a big city house block. Light gray shape on the side. This? Yeah, I mean, it was just some lines in perspective, basically. Maybe we'll do an interior. No, I don't know about interior. Yes, that. Okay. So if this is our horizon line, hold on, let's do this. Lines going down. Get rid of those. And then these lines go up. And then maybe there's some other lines in here. No, it's a city, Joe. You absolutely are intending to paint a city. I mean, maybe. A city. I don't know how it looks like a city, but maybe it's a city. It's possible. I haven't decided yet. I don't know what it's gonna... I mean, I kind of feel like we're in a canyon, but I do that a lot, so maybe we shouldn't do that. That's awesome. Oh, let's take a look. You've been studying metal armor recently. Ooh, that is nice. Have you seen Clint Kearley's metal studies? He posts them on Instagram, and they're amazing, and you should totally check them out if you're into painting metals and different materials. But he has 3 YouTube videos where he paints different types of metal. Like he paints like rusted metal and shiny metal and different like patinaed metal and different things. And like a black iron metal. Anyway, he paints lots of different metals. But then he also has, on his Instagram at least, he does like one slide tutorials occasionally, or he did some, where he does like, this is armor made out of cardboard, and it's a cardboard study. And so he paints the material of the armor and to make it look like cardboard. And then the next one he's like, this is a crystal study, and so he paints a suit of crystal armor. And then he'll like, this is a whatever. So he did basically how a lot of people will do material studies, but on like spheres. He was doing it on sets of armor. It's very cool. Let me find it. Instagram. Please don't make me log in. Oh, I'm already logged in. Okay. Search. Clint Kear. Here we go. Here, I'm gonna share my screen. I'll give you the link too. I'll give you the link, and I'll take a look at your art in a second, Crunchy. So this is Clint Kearley's this guy. He's very cool. I love, Joe, you constructed the body with the 4 arms. The 4 arms. Anyway, so he does a lot of stuff like this. He has all these armor things. So like here he has his, standard shiny armor. Oh, I love how, oh, not me. Okay. I see. Anyway, so he has his standard things, but he also does copper and silver and other types. And then here's a crystal one where he has all his versions and he has additionals. You know, like here is wooden armor, and so he does a wood study. It's very cool, and I feel like he's really good at, well, one, he's really good at materials, but also it's cool how the material study that he's doing is also happens to be armor. Anyway, he has entire YouTube videos about a lot of it. Let's see, does he have more? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, highly recommend checking out Clint Kearley because he's awesome. Anyway, let's take a look at Crunchy's art. Ooh, this is super cool. Yeah, I like the four arms. And the turnaround. You got the character turnaround showing the back of him. Ooh, he has a tail. I see. I like it. He's a great artist. Also painted Nisa. Yeah, yeah. He does a lot of Magic the Gathering work. Very cool. I like it, Crunchy. I like it a lot. Small warning for just boxer shorts. Yeah, I mean he's just in his underpants. That's all good though. All good. We're okay with some underpants on stream. That's I don't feel like that's pushing any boundaries there. I mean, technically we're on Twitch. I mean, we can't show full nudity, but I feel like the themes that are allowed on Twitch are far, far more extreme than what I want on my channel. So like, we're pretty much good. Like, basically anything would go, right? Because I'm gonna draw the line long before Twitch draws the line. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just trying to block in some shapes and values, trying to figure out something that this could be. Maybe we just make some interesting shapes, some little, I don't know, I'm just drawing, yeah, just little abstract shapes, trying to think of shape design a little bit. Maybe there's some dark parts in here. Again, don't really know what this is, but I want to do something with an idea that's central. I wish I could have made it yesterday for the Sunday watch along. No worries. So the Sunday watch-alongs are something that I don't really advertise, and I mean I have kind of in the past, but I'm gonna stop advertising them because it's a very casual thing. It's basically just it's also very self-centered. It's not exactly a community. I mean, anyone's welcome, right? So in that regard, it is a community thing, but I'm doing it for me, right? I'm not doing it for the community. I just want to be accountable to myself to like throughout the week I save videos that I want to watch, and Sunday is the time where I force myself to sit down and watch some stuff. So, yeah, I mean, definitely anyone is welcome to join, but it's not like a super big community event and you're missing out. Like, I mean, you could, watch the same videos on your own. You probably do. I know Skittle will oftentimes be like, "Oh, I've already seen this video," and that's fine too. Um, Again, it's not like it's basically just me watching stuff that I think is interesting. Obviously, other people can recommend art videos as well, but yeah, it's just a little bit of getting ideas dumped into my brain. Um, yeah, I don't ever want people to feel like they're missing out a ton because it really isn't about that. Yes, we do have a Discord. If you'd like to join our not very community focused watch along, you can join our Discord every Sunday. And again, everybody is welcome to join, but it's not like you're missing out if you don't. Not really. Anyway, I want to draw. Yeah, I'm trying to draw some interesting shapes. Basically, just silhouettes, and I want to focus on shape design today. Also, I want to have a central focal point, so I want to focus on composition and shapes. That's kind of going to be the name of the game today, or the name of the stream. This is not a game. Y'all are totally missing out if you're not in this Discord. Totally. Okay, I want a little bit of an up tilt, so I'm going lines going in. A little bit of a thing. I don't want this to go too near the top. I don't know. I don't know what this is, but again, maybe it's a house or something. But it's a house in the rocks. A rock house. I do like this light actually up here. This is kind of cool. There's could definitely get some light bands poking in here. I don't know where the light would come from. It could just be a different color or texture. I do also like the light in here. Maybe we can shape the light a little bit so that it comes in. Something like that. I like that. I'm thinking over here we need something as well, though. Maybe we could do some dark shapes, I guess. Or maybe light. I don't know. Thank you for the follow. Alice Mick, how are you? Anyway, let's slap some color in because it makes it look better for when people are first joining. Color is nice. I'm thinking some nice warms, some oranges, some different stuff. Orange, maybe some bright yellows for the light, some bluish colors for the sky. It's very not what I was looking for. How are you? And then maybe some of that red-orange. I'm just dropping in an overlay layer, basically, to render, or to color this. Anyway, there we go. That'll work for some plopping colors. Again, I don't know what those floating rocks are, but I think the idea is already more lively and fun. Okay, thumbnail number 2. And by number 2, I mean number 4. I'm going to go up and down. Do you usually color grayscale composition? Nope, almost never. I don't actually like to do coloring grayscale like that. I think that it's hard for me to explore. So I'm always a big proponent of making room in your process for exploration, right? A lot of people do it just in the sketch phase where they just doodle until they find an idea, then they color it. But I think it's good to have that phase in every aspect. So whether you're doing you're exploring your values, or you're exploring your shapes, or exploring your colors, right? And I feel like this method of doing it doesn't leave as much room for exploration of colors. And even when I do explore colors this way, the colors kind of suck. Like, because it's not, I'm isolating them from the values, right? So you're not playing with value and, like, to me, I think the ultimate thing would be to be exploring values and colors together, because the value composition can affect, like, it affects the mood as well, and colors affect mood, and so kind of marrying those two together, I don't know, it feels like it just makes sense to do those at some point at the same time, but it's also kind of like juggling stuff, so I think it's just far easier to isolate them, but I don't think you get as good of results. So I don't normally start like this. I don't really like to start like this, but it's not terrible. um yeah, it's not terrible, but definitely not ideal, I think. And of course, I could go a lot brighter in spots as well. But yeah, yeah, I don't like to do that. But I am going to be doing that a little bit today because I think it is easier to focus on composition. So awesome art. Dropped a follow on Instagram. Aw, thank you. I also have other socials. I don't know if you're one of the people who are jumping into other things like Kara, which is a new app that some people. It's kind of like a new art station. I don't know if that's what is that. It's probably not. I'm gonna just be controversial and just say it's the new art station. It's not actually a new art station, but to me, it kind of fills that niche of art station of the same sort of area. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know if you're someone who does stuff like that, but if you do, I have a car app. Well, that looks cool. A bit different to what you usually do. It's like in a smaller space. Yeah, maybe. I guess. Let's see. I'm gonna do another thing with dark central shape, light background, I guess. Maybe. But yeah, I guess I guess we don't have to have that shape like this. We can do something different too. Some light shining down. Maybe this one has let's move that one way down. Could be a tree. Could be a again. We could do like a little town or something somewhere. Be some buildings up here. Maybe these buildings are. I don't know, something like this. Kara looks like Twitter, but for artists. I feel like it's more like ArtStation, but with a Twitter feed. And the reason I say that is because it's more geared for portfolio. It seems to have a bit of a professional-ish vibe to it. But yeah, it's a little more social. I mean, I don't. The reason I'm hesitant to say it's like Twitter is because Twitter is all about posting random ideas and thoughts and discussions, and I don't think you always know whether it's going to be art related or not. Not everything an artist posts on Twitter is art related. And so I kind of feel like Kara is about everything we posting being art related. So I don't know. I don't really see it taking off in the general discussion area, but I don't know. I actually don't know where it's going to go, but I do kind of like it. I've been posting there. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm gonna basically treat it like ArtStation. I'm gonna make posts, but I'll also comment on other people's stuff probably a little more. I don't know. It might literally turn into nothing. I don't know. No idea. But I do like trying new stuff a little bit sometimes. Sometimes I also don't like it at all. New stuff can be scary. I want to be somebody who likes trying new stuff. Ooh, let's do that. Okay, so we have these little underhang things. Maybe there's some. Yeah, just trying to get some shapes in here that are interesting. Whoa, that's a blue. But it follows a very similar UI. Yeah, it does. ArtStation is much more expansive. It has lessons, jobs. Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, its main page definitely does. But like, for example, Kara has the Explore feature, and the Explore feature basically looks identical to ArtStation's Explore feature. So it's again, it's kind of a marrying between the two. Do I ever do characters art on stream? No, not really. No, if I do it, it's very just like a quick demonstration or explanation of like how I might do a character without actually being the character art. I would describe myself as someone who is always on the search to try new stuff, which is a good quality. But on the flip side of that is that I get bored of stuff very easily. This could be something problematic. Yeah, I mean, I would like to be like that. Well, I don't know. I mean, I like to also fall in love with things and not get bored of certain things, but I want to be somebody who likes to try new stuff, right? Like whether I do like to try new stuff or not, I think this is one of those things if you were to ask me on a survey, do you like to try new things? I would be like, heck yeah. 5 out of, on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm a 5. But in reality, how often do I actually try new things? Not as often as I would like, right? So, do I like to do it? Yes, but it also takes energy, it takes time, right? And there's a cost to it, and I don't always justify that cost. So, my lived experience is a little different than my stated experience, right? There's like those psychology studies with like stated versus observed preferences. People will say their preferences, then they observe them, and then in reality they choose other things over their preferences. So it's what's called like stated versus observed preference. I think it's observed or whatever. Anyway, maybe it's an economics thing, right? Because people will say that they'll buy stuff, but then they don't. They'll actually buy something different because it's flashier or tasty or whatever. Um, so yeah, I think in that regard, I'd like to be a person who loves trying new things, but also on stream it's a little different. Um, yeah, Joe draws dragons because he lives in a world of dragons. Twitch just connects his world to ours, so I would say he draws characters. True. Yeah, that's a. I mean, I don't draw that many dragons. Really, not many. Repeating shapes, so some back here. I don't know if I like that shape back there. Yes, it is no use to ask people what they want in terms of product features, work benefits, because people think they know what they want, and then they'll. I mean, so they've even done these studies for like relationships, for like, with like dating and stuff, where they ask people, what they're looking for in a person, and then even though if a person matches all that, they may or may not choose somebody different because the factors are like there's just a lot of factors that come into our decision making. And what we would like in theory is not always the same as in practice because other times there's other variables that take precedence, right? I mean, in theory, I would like to only buy stuff that is good for the environment and healthy and whatever. In reality, I am gonna go with what I can afford and what I notice, right? If I don't see something, I'm not gonna buy it. That's just how that is, right? It doesn't matter if I don't know it exists, I can't buy it, right? And so yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone wants a good guy. I mean, no, not even just that. Not even just that. I just mean in terms of like, oh, I want someone outgoing, or I want someone not outgoing, or I want some like you don't always know because there's a lot of variables, and I don't know. I guess I don't put very much stock in how people describe themselves and how well people know themselves because I think there's so many situations that you have never been in and will never be in, and until you're in those, you don't know how you'll act. Right? It's very easy to say, "Oh, this is how I would do in this situation," but I think the reality is we just don't know, and I don't think we're good at understanding ourselves or why we did things. I think we're just we kind of make it up as we go, and we tell ourselves stories, and they seem coherent, so we just go with them. And I don't know. I feel like those sorts of things, I feel like the best solution is to just try stuff and figure it out. Figure it out for yourself. I don't know. I don't think in some topics, I don't think thinking about things, no matter how much you think about it, is never going to make you actually have experienced it, and you're not. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm saying. I'm rambling. Anyway, let's paint. Let's do more. There's little shapes in here. Maybe some big shapes in the foreground. Maybe this one's dark. That's an awesome philosophical lesson. Thanks. I mean, I just think it. I mean, this is like so to tie it back to art. This is like when people say, "Why did you do what you did?" Like, "Why did you make this piece? What motivated you?" I don't. sometimes you do have a very clear, this thing inspired me. I wanted to design, and then you can write out your prompt, and then you say how you arrive there. But a lot of times it's just like I was experimenting and then I found something that was cool. It's very easy to be like, oh well, I was thinking about composition and I was thinking about all this stuff. Not always. I mean, it's hard. There's a lot of things happening at once. There's a lot of variables. Melon's Sayeko. How are you? Or like when people ask me, what got you into art? Or why do you draw environment? I don't know, because I like it. I don't know why I like what I like, really. I mean, there's, I can pinpoint things in my life that are like, that would tell a story, and you could nod along, like, oh, well, it's inevitable that you liked what you like. I could explain that I've always been more into exploring outdoors than, say, hanging out with people. I've never really been a big people person, so maybe that's why I don't draw people, right? So it makes sense I would draw other things than people, right? Maybe um, well, for starters, I always like design, and landscapes are very composition-y, and so there's a lot of design elements there. But also, tried to be an architect, and then I switched majors to be a landscape architect, and well, landscape design, So it's obvious that now I paint landscapes, but I don't think it's as easy as that. I don't. I mean, that's a nice story to tell myself or other people, and all the pieces sort of fit, but it could have been the case that somebody else said something or did something and I took a different course or a different class, or at one point in time I was encouraged to draw something else and that thing was received really well. So I went down that route instead. Like, I don't know, right? It's just, I think to me, it's just like the path of least resistance. And I don't think there was a big defining decision. It was, I went with this thing because I enjoyed it, and it was easy in the sense of there was not a lot of resistance, right? The feedback was good. I didn't have to fight adversity every step of the way. It was like, hey, I paint this thing. I like doing this. At some point, early on, I learned perspective, right? And so when I drew things in perspective, people are like, oh, that's so cool. I hate perspective, right? And it gave me a sense of, I don't know, satisfaction. Um, and so I kept doing those things because I liked feedback. And I don't know. But again, I don't think there's a single reason. So I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, this is why I draw what I draw. This is how I got into art." I don't think that's always the way it happens. I think we're really bad judges of ourselves. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm sure some people are right on the nose, though. Obviously, it's going to happen. But I don't think they can be certain of it, even if they are correct. Millen, what about me? I am doing well. I am starting out with grayscale images today, which is really unusual because I almost never do this. Let's do some greens and blues and blue greens. And maybe some light blues. And then some reds and oranges. There we go. Well, that's a good one. The path of least resistance. That's not when yeah, I mean, I think a lot of stuff I do, right? I mean, if I have to make a choice and a choice is difficult versus easy, even if I want to make the difficult choice. By the way, do I watch? Yeah, between Ding and Nepomniachtchi, yeah, or Ding Liren and Nepo. I guess Nepo and Ding is the easier way to say it. Yeah, I've been watching recaps. I haven't been watching it live. I only know I don't actually even remember what day they're on, or what the score is. What is it? Is it tied, or is it 4-3 or 3-4 or something? I don't know. I don't actually know. I haven't been following it that closely. But I'll be honest, the this is a weird thing, but I think I'm not as interested as I have been in previous years because Magnus isn't playing. Because I think when the undisputed best and you always like you wanted to see the person, who is like pretty much considered by all of his uh colleagues, if you want to say. Well, no, not even a Magnus fanboy. I mean, I am, but not even that. It's more that when all of your contemporaries are all in agreement that you are the best current living player, like you want to see him, somebody try to dethrone him. Like that is exciting, right? To see this person who's been on top for a while, he's still regarded as to be the best, and you just want to see him defend his title. I don't care if he wins or loses. I just want to. I think it makes it more exciting because there's real like there's a reason, right? But I with Ding and Nepo, it's like I don't really care who wins, but also there isn't like a defending of the title, right? There's not like, oh my god, is somebody gonna finally take over the throne? Like, no, not really. Like it's just it's not anyway, it's a weird situation because normally you have the in chess you have one of the best players competing. And he's not because he decided not to. Anyway, this is like talking about sports. People probably just don't care. But anyway, I am a Magnus Carlsen fanboy though. I think it's hard not to be. Anyway, all right. So there's a quick environment. I'm just gonna move on, and then hopefully we'll find something that is fun. I'm not a Magnus fanboy, but I am though. I am. It's I mean not like a hard. I'm not really a fanboy of anyone too hard in chess. I mean there's people I mean I don't know. I don't really treat chess like that. Like I don't really care one way or the other. I don't really treat it like sports. I mean I kind of do, but not really. Like I don't really watch sports. I don't really watch that much chess, but I do watch a bit. I mean I probably watch a lot more than people would expect because I don't know. I always wonder when I say something like, I don't watch that much chess or I don't do that much art compared to other people, right? When they make those statements. Like, is it the case that when I say I don't watch much and someone else is like, oh, I do a lot of art, right? What if I end up doing more art than that person who says they do a lot, but I say I don't, right? And it's like, are people like we aren't all using the same ruler? And I always wonder, like, are there people who just they'll be like, "This is how I did a thing," and then, or like, I don't watch much chess, but they're actually totally obsessed, and it's like they're really good. No, no, not humble bragging. I'm because I don't know. Maybe I don't do it a lot. Like for example, Chikiri was like, "Oh yeah, I do like 60 hours a week of painting." I'm like, "Oh my God, like that's insane." I don't know how you could do that. I can't imagine doing 60 hours of painting a week. That's a ton. Um, but like, is she overestimating the amount of time she's actually doing? Or like, I don't know. Maybe. Am I underestimating the time? Like, there's certain. I mean, I think with times it's pretty easy, but because you can just record it and know for sure. But I guess what I'm getting at is oftentimes you see artists that you look up to, and they'll say things like, "Oh, I was just naturally gifted," and I just really loved I just really loved art and person and then like 2 seconds later they'll be like, "Yeah, I probably do it like 70 hours a week," you know? Like, hold up. You're saying you're just naturally this way, or like you worked 70 hours a week to get to this point for like 10, 20 years, It's like what's the story here? Like you're telling one story, but what you're showing us is totally different, right? You're showing us you're super obsessed with the subject matter. You think about it all day, every day, right? You constantly do the thing, and then you're like, "Oh, I don't know, it just comes easy to me." It's like I'm not sure if I can buy that. Like, that's, I mean, maybe it came easy, but you certainly put in the hours, you know? So yeah, I don't think, anyway, that's kind of what I'm getting at with this whole discussion is I think it's hard to even know. Like, I think it's easy to listen to people tell their story and get the wrong takeaway because I don't think they always have the right takeaway. Anyway, that's what I'm getting at. Some trees. Basically, what I'm saying is I don't trust people when they tell me about themselves. Just kidding. I don't think it, but I don't think people lie either. I don't think it's they're trying to be deceptive. I just think I don't know. I just think we tell ourselves stories is what I'm trying to say. What do I want to paint here? What do I want to paint? I get your point. Also, for classical musicians, some of the they literally say, "Oh, I only practice for 8 hours, 8 hours today, so not so much." They they might be bragging, but others are genuine. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I don't think for them they view it as a lot, right? Because for them it might be easy because they enjoy it. Um, no, well, I don't think it's. I don't. Obviously, people lie, but I don't think when people talk about their experiences and why they do things, or how much they do it, or how much other people do it, I think people just are really poor judges of that. I think you only know your own experience, and you're only guessing at other people's experience, right? It's kind of like when you look at people on Instagram. So this would be the flip side of it, right? Everybody thinks they're a slow painter, but everybody is faster than them. Like, no, that's not how that works. You're not just the slowest artist ever, right? Just because you see time lapses on Instagram and people posting daily doesn't mean that they're making a full painting a day, and it doesn't mean that they're not spending 20 hours on a painting, right? It could be that they have a huge back catalog. It could be that they've been painting for 30 years and that they are just really freaking good and that you're a beginner and you're not that good, right? And it could be that there's all these other factors that you just can't take into account because you don't know they exist. And I think though that's the and that's kind of the flip side, right? And then, in our heads, we're like we know what we do and we can't like it's hard to imagine someone else studying or working twice as hard as you because what would that even look like? Like it's hard to know. Like it might be the case that in some circles somebody, doing 8 hours of drawing is like that's like the bare minimum, right? And they don't think of it as some crazy feat of endurance. Whereas I'm like, that is insane. Like 4 hours is a lot for me. Um, I mean, so anecdotally, I remember I have a I knew somebody who streamed when I kind of started streaming, and they're somebody I enjoyed their stream, and I mean, they don't stream anymore, but I remember them talking about their stream, and at one point, they were saying like, oh, I'm not growing very much. I think I'm gonna quit streaming. I've streamed so long, right? I've put in so much time, and it hasn't returned. And it's funny to think that for me that benchmark has come and gone, right? That I think it was like 500 hours they said, which is a lot. Like 500 hours is a lot, but in the terms of streaming, it really isn't that much. I mean, if you're streaming a couple days a week, I mean, let's say 7 hours a week, you can. I don't know. I feel like very quickly it's only a little over a year, right? I mean, it's not that much. So yeah, I don't know. It's I guess it's not a little over a year. My math is off on that, I think. But anyway, my point is that sometimes I think people are like, oh, I do this, I've been doing this thing for so long. And it's like, it's, to somebody else, it's not a long time. Um, that's why I think taking different perspectives and reminding yourself that, like I'm going to be painting for the rest of my life. And so me painting for 5 to 10 years is nothing because I'm going to live a lot longer than that. And most people will. And when I'm really started, I don't pay attention to time, and I can easily drop for 8 to 10 hours, but I don't do that every day. Yeah. I used to wonder how one artist could post a full length illustration every day during Inktober. Later, I found out that she already started preparing for Inktober like 2 months beforehand and just posted. Yeah, exactly. Um, so not to go into an Inktober rant, but I'm going to go into an Inktober rant. I'm not a big fan of Inktober or any month-long challenge. Um, I'm alive again. Super cool to catch a stream. Hey, Mestimo, how are you? So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the month-long challenges where you have to do something every day. I think it's just, at least not if you have to post about it. I feel like there's too many variables that are conflicting. On one hand, you're encouraged to try new things and do new stuff. And on the other hand, you're expected to make stuff that's good enough to post on Instagram. And so now you have this conflict of like, I want to make it good, but also I want to try something new. But also, in trying something new and making something good, I also have to do it quickly. Like, haven't you heard of those? Right? Remember that thing? There's like, I don't know where it's from, but it's like time, money, or cost, and there's quality, right? And then the idea is like you can pick two, right? And this is for like, if you're trying to have a product and it's like I can make it timely and costly, but the quality is going to suffer. Or I can make it, quick and high quality, but it's going to cost you, right? Or I can make it quality and cheap, but that also means it's going to take a very, very long time, right? And I like that idea, but to me, the same thing applies to Inktober, right? You have like low time, expected high quality, and instead of cost, you would have like quantity, right? So quantity would be instead of like you can't do all of these. Like this is Inktober tries to demand all of this of you, right? It tries to have you produce a high amount in a short time of high quality. I feel like this is just bad, right? This is not a good setup for success or your mental health. It's possible, but like you shouldn't strive for this, right? This is insane. Pick one or two. Like that's, anyway. Economics, yeah, exactly. I'm great. I recently went back to university and just wrapped my academic year. Nice, Nasty Mo. That's exciting. But yeah, so I guess for me, Inktober, and really any of those are just a bit much. Like I think it's great to force yourself to learn new things, but I say take your time, slow down, and don't feel like you have to post about it because that way you can really focus on learning. Or if you want to just make cool stuff for social media, start now, spend a long time on it, do a good job, and then post it. You know, the only Inktober I consider is the Inktober 52 because it's one drawing a week, not one every day. Yeah, that's better. Wasn't Inktober invented by a dude who wanted to get better with ink? Like he was drawing with ink the whole time anyway. It was not like he was drawing with markers. He just wanted to try something different, but rather improve fast. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was made by Jake Parker and yeah, he already did line work, I believe. He technically he was already a professional artist who probably drew every day already or almost every day. And yeah, so the stretch for him wasn't that extreme, right? He was already a pro doing drawing every day, and so it's, drawing every day isn't that hard when you're already drawing every day, right? For someone who doesn't draw every day, who isn't good at ink, and who isn't a professional, and maybe they're super conscious about what they're posting on social media, that is a huge ask, right? Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is do what Jake Parker did, but for yourself, which is design your own challenge that fits your own needs and do that. He was a pro doing pro stuff. Yeah, I mean, my point is, yeah, design the challenges for yourself based on your needs, right? Because that's what he did to start it, and that's what I mean, isn't that the point? Or do what other people do and just use it as a way to gain followers on social media and prepare ahead of time, do all of your art ahead of time, and then post it 30 days in a row. That way you can get the following, but you're not deluding yourself into thinking that this is some healthy thing. Anyway, Debuhas de Pam. Debuhas de Pam. How are you? Oops. What do I want to paint today? Let's think about it. Hope that's a very valid point of view. I hadn't really thought of it that way. I mean, I never participated in Inktober. I mean, look, I'm not against Inktober if other people want to do it and are happy with it, but I guess there's nothing that kind of grinds my gears more than seeing people stress out about it. Like seeing people beat themselves up or being like, "Why am I not getting followers?" or "Oh my gosh, they end up spending 8 hours a day on a painting because they want it to look good enough for social media. And like that to me is really upsetting. It's not upsetting, it's sad. I think people who like if you want to do a painting a day, spend an hour on it, right? Or if you want to do a drawing a day, spend 2 hours on it. That's or 3 hours you could do a day, right? For a month. That's still a lot, but you can't expect that you're going to have the same quality as you would for a final painting. I think it's still kind of just a sketch. Like it's and if you're someone who's going to be spending more time to make it look good, maybe don't do it in a 30 day span. Like, don't do all of those. Anyway, um, I have watched an interview with Devin Ellie Kurtz today, and she said that most people in their art field are kind of burned out. What do you think about that? Oh, is that the one with? We watched that yesterday. Is that the one with? What's his name? I can never Lightbox guy. Why can't I think of his name? Bobby Chu. Bobby Chu interviewed Devin L. Kurtz. Yeah, that was a really good interview. I actually just watched the one with um, Nathan Fowkes today as well, but we're gonna probably watch that one on next Sunday because it was really good. Yeah, I could definitely see where the stress comes from. It's a lot if you're not used to that kind of time. Yeah, I mean, if it's not something that you're already able to do, yeah. Anyway, oh, something with a van. Oh, it was Christian. I know that one. Sketchy Van. Yeah, Sketchy Van podcast. I haven't seen the one with Devin L. Kurtz though, but I know of the one with yeah. His name's Christian, right? I think it is. Anyway. Ooh, okay, 5 minute thumbnail sketch. Hold on. Uh watch it. It gave me a lot of insights for art in my personal life. Yeah. I'm trying to make some interesting shapes here. And then I'll do a 5 minute thumbnail in just a second. Just a moment. I don't like the shape down here. I don't like these shapes. But I do like the big pink thing behind it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think those interviews are great. I actually am a huge fan of art interviews with people. I actually feel like that's how I learned most of what I know about art, honestly, is from the interviews, not from like tutorials. Just watching people talk about what they do and how they do it and why they do it. Um, and being introspective on my own life about why I do what I do and how I do it. And just kind of, yeah, I guess a lot of that stuff was sort of paving the way. I don't know. So yeah, I do watch a lot of that. There's a series called Level Up. I don't know if you've heard of it. I've mentioned it before. It's also linked in the learn thing that I have, exclamation mark learn. Basically, it was one of the sites that sort of got me started in art and sort of made me fall in love with it. Just watching these concept artists, mostly concept artists and illustrators, talk about what they do, why they do it, sort of how they do it. Just random art related things. It might be, what was your biggest setback? What was your biggest milestone? Was there anything that you could tell your younger self? Those kinds of questions. And I feel like a lot of that, maybe it's a little outdated because it's like 7 or 8 years old and a lot of them use different programs and are probably being used now and have different workflows than they use now, right? Because especially in concept art, it's constantly moving and changing and adapting. But I think a lot of the art stuff, hearing these people constantly talk about the fundamentals, for example, as me being a younger artist, was like, oh, these fundamental things must be important. And while they didn't teach me what the fundamentals were, they kind of got me. It was just listening to pros talk, and you're like, this is what these people value, right? This is what you kind of get the hint that like this is what they actually care about. Or like, what is the thing that you see young artists do that that it annoys you? Like what do you see people's biggest downfalls are? What are they not doing that they should be? Those kinds of questions. I will do the 5 minute thumbnail sketch in just a second, though. I think I didn't properly learn about the fundamentals until after my. I don't know. I mean, I still don't think I properly know the fundamentals, but I know how I think about them anyway. Um, yeah, I mean, it's. I think understanding the term and understanding sort of the. Hold on, I'm trying to just go wild here with color dodge for a moment. But yeah, I feel like I probably was a little slow on the. Well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of. So no, I don't think I at all had the same thing because I didn't start out painting for myself. I started out painting. I mean, I kind of did as like a little kid, I guess. But when I came back to doing art, honestly, I fell in love with the. I don't want to say the competitive side of it because it wasn't really competition as such, but I guess it was more the expertise and skill building side of it. That's kind of what I fell in love with. And this was coming from somebody, so like, because before art, the thing that I felt like I clicked for me in terms of, this is a skill you can build it and you can learn and practice and get better, and through a process of sort of analysis and practice and learning and education. So one of the things that happened for me was actually because I was coming off the back of like playing a lot of League of Legends and kind of competitively, not like hardcore like on a major team or anything, but like I do like I guess you could call them scrims with people. We would do like pretty high level games. I remember when and I was pretty highly ranked in League of Legends back when they first released the ability to spectate. I was consistently on like the front page, the sweaty side. Yeah. I was consistently on the front page of like games to spectate because they would randomly pick high level games to show. So like you could watch your favorite players, and oftentimes I would be there getting my butt kicked by other people who are actually professionals. And like I was, playing with the best of them for a long time in League, and I I felt like I got there, and it was sort of the my journey of getting to that point. I mean, I'm not to brag or anything, but like it was the journey of getting to that point, and it was learning that you can, watch people do their thing. You can understand that you can go out and practice a skill. You learn about the things that they value. So like in League of Legends, that it was oftentimes your creep score, right? Or your CS, right? That was important because that was an indicator of how much gold you're earning. Another thing that was there was other things like basically coming up with little metrics of essentially fundamentals, and you could practice those things, right? You could go into a practice game, you could practice CSing, you could get a friend and you could practice CSing with some pressure, you could um, learn to control your lane and push your wave or not push your wave, or yeah, there's all sorts of little skills, right? And it was sort of the conversation around that made me realize that those things are important, that those things exist in other fields, and you can get good by focusing on the fundamentals essentially. And it's a skill, and I started to understand how I can learn those skills. And so when I started, and plus I had just gone through college, and so I'm losing my voice. What role did I play? um, mid and top, and occasionally. So I was very limited. I was kind of more of a one-trick pony. I played like three champions. I played uh, Swain. This was like before the Swain reworks. This was like 5 or 6 years ago or something, or maybe even more than that. Um, Maybe like 10 years ago actually. I don't know, it was a long time. But this was before the Swain reworks, before his ultimate was what it was. It used to just be him turning into a bird, and he would leech life, and it would be like as damage over time, but also constant heal. Anyway, so I would play mid and top Swain, and if I couldn't play that, I would try to go jungle Shaco, and if I couldn't do that, I may play Lee Sin, but I kind of sucked at him. And if I couldn't do that, I would play Janna support. And actually, Janna support is the first time that brought me up to like high diamond before Challenger was a thing. Um, Basically just playing Janna, and I think even before that, I played a lot of Taric. I don't know. There were different times in League of Legends that I would play different characters, but those were like my strong characters. And then towards the end, I just started playing Heimerdinger because and just top Heimerdinger, not even mid. I was like just top solo push Heimerdinger. Yeah, anyway, with teleport. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, I basically I wasn't very well varied, but I knew my matchups, and more importantly, I knew my losing matchups. But anyway, this isn't about League of Legends. This is not a League of Legends stream. The point was that I had learned sort of a way of critical thinking about getting better at things, right? And sort of like not blaming your teammate for stuff, and sort of, I mean, there's a lot of the learning process, focusing on yourself and what you can do as opposed to what other people around you are doing. And that kind of got me into a way of thinking of like, oh, you want to get better at art, stop worrying about all this other crap and just paint. Go figure it out, get better, right? Get good essentially. Stop worrying about your teammates, stop worrying about stuff that's out of your control. Don't worry about social media. Like if you want to be a good artist, go learn art, right? It's as simple as that. I mean, obviously, but it's I mean, there's different ways to learn, but I think a lot of people, the way they approach subjects, especially things like games, right? It's very much just excuse after excuse, and it's like no, just it's hard. Getting good is hard. You're gonna lose a lot. You have to explore anyway. So I no, I'm not. I occasionally will play Teamfight Tactics, but I don't play League anymore. It was I I had quit for like 5 years, and then I had come back to it for a brief time, and I kind of reminded myself why I quit. I can't play it for fun. Like I get too I try to go into like learning mode again. I try to analyze games. I suddenly start looking at the game from a very competitive way, and it's just I stop playing it for fun. I mean, I like that stuff. I like taking things serious, and I like trying to get better, but it's also just a lot to learn because it's constantly changing, constant new patches. It's also kind of stressful because as much as I like to preach, don't worry about what your teammates are doing. Like there is an element of toxicity, which again isn't a huge thing. Like I kind of got over it and it wasn't a big deal. I was pretty good at letting it slide. But but yeah, it definitely wasn't great. It was a little stressful. Anyway, 5 minute thumbnail. Let's go. Let's go. 5 minute thumbnail. Let me turn on this. Honestly, uh honestly, for it is liked with my value of being a hard worker, and partially I do art because I consider artists to be very disciplined and hardworking people. It takes so much hard work to become even decent at it, and I want that. I don't know. I think it makes sense. I mean, there is an element of I mean, I think that's part of it for me as well, especially when I say art just ticks a lot of boxes for me. The fact that it is a hard thing that you can see progress in, and when you see somebody who is a good artist, you're like, that person has skill, right? Sometimes when I see, let's say, an engineer, I don't, I mean, it might be the case that all engineers who are working professionally are skilled at what they do and they're knowledgeable and they obviously have the requirements to do what they're doing, but I don't see that, right? And I think there is sorry, I'm just sitting here drinking tea and chatting. I realize my paintbrush isn't moving. Always love the kind of philosophical parts of your streams. Yeah, they always happen a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think there is a part of being visible, I guess, with art. I mean, it's very superficial, and it's definitely not a large contributing factor to why I like art. But it is a factor, and I think it's one of those things like I can see, or I guess it's even more that I can see the limit, right? Or the fact that I can't see the limit, right? I can see the skill, right? And I can imagine where it could go and it can keep going on forever. With something like, doing an engineering job, right? You're working at a firm doing your design stuff or doing whatever. I don't really feel like there's always a better version, right? I feel like at some point you're capable, and again, I'm probably wrong, right? I'm sure it is there, but it's not as obvious, right? With art, it's very obvious because it's right out in front of you. You can see the work, you can see the speed, you can see their knowledge, right? That you can see how varied they are. I mean, honestly, it's probably a little bit like with actors, right? Why actors get a little bit of the spotlight is because, like, we can see, like, oh, this person's very varied. They can play a lot of roles, and oh, look how good they were in that role, right? We can see that, dang, that was an insane performance, right? Like, we can understand it even without being an actor. I can't understand a lot of fields, right? I don't know what an astrophysicist does outside of a big, I don't know what makes a good one from a bad one really. I don't know what like there isn't that sense of like skill. Obviously they're skilled and they're knowledgeable, but you don't I don't know. There's something to it if you know what I mean. Anyway, let's timer. Countdown on. Click the button. There we go. All right, and we're off. Painting. All right. What do I want to paint? Let's see. I'm gonna not do the thing that I was doing over here. I'm gonna have better colors in this one, I'm sure. Ooh, the finger brush. Don't use that very often. Actually, almost never. Flamingo check. Ooh, yes. Okay, sitting upright. Sitting upright. Good posture. That's important. Oh, my computer is lagging. I wish I could set back the timer for like 15 seconds when it does that. Okay. Some perspective. Maybe some lines. Maybe some lines. Here. Look out, a dangerous timer has appeared. Yeah. I'm using like an opaque brush right now. And maybe we get some shapes in here. I'm thinking a little bit about composition. Maybe we'll go some water in here. That doesn't look like water. Just shapes and color, composition, and all the stuff. Hmm. I always feel like I'm putting straight up magic in these shapes. Well, this isn't. Yeah, I don't feel like this is that magical right now. I'm not sure what this is. Honestly, this I may have to redo this thumbnail in 5 minutes because this is not anything. I'm not really sure what I want to do here. I'm just sketching some lines in perspective. I'm Yeah, I don't know. This is not anything really. I'm just kind of moving colors around. I really am just experimenting right now. Yeah, I guess when in doubt, just go back to the old stuff that we do a lot. One thing I haven't done a lot of lately is little bits of vibrancy, like super bright. Maybe these are little houses. I don't know what these bright yellow parts are, but something like that. Could be a little area down here. 23 seconds left for this to be something. Trying to figure out the composition. Anyway, there's something. I guess last little bit here, I'm gonna fix the sky or whatever this is. I don't know. Okay, I guess timer's up, but I never really let the timer tell me what to do. Anyway, it's not how it started, but it's something, I guess. Maybe there's these little tent things over here as well. Yeah, anyway, there's something. Yeah, maybe these little tents or something. It's a druid, yeah, druid village or something. Anyway, I'm gonna call that one a thumbnail that's finished for now. Again, it's very basic. A lot of these do end up being the same. Another thing I can do though, I'm gonna turn this off for now. This timer. Another thing you can do, or I like to do, is to take the thumbnail that I do have, copy it, and edit, tonal correction, and just change the colors. Maybe to something wild. Like that. That's pretty wild. But now we obviously have a problem with our dark color in the foreground. That's okay. You can add some of that back. Okay, so we have these shapes. Maybe there's some like shapes up here. Ooh, that changes the vibe. Now I'm getting dystopian. Yeah, so maybe there's some sort of building or something up here. And this is like the entrance to it. And then now we can get some of these lights in here. But maybe this is not, maybe this is the door here, down here. It's tiny, it's very tiny. And again, we can go really, really dark with some of this stuff if we want. And all I did was just directly plop in the color, so it's not like I can't change the color. But for example, what if I do like a glow dodge and take an airbrush and it's a bright color? Maybe I can really bring in some. I mean, that's too bright. I actually kind of like the purple. What about blue? Blue's a color we don't get blue light much. Maybe not. I mean, this definitely changes it. What about a pink? My brain is. I mean, yeah, that's kind of. I mean, mine too, a little bit, right? It's trying to figure out what's going on a little bit. Some of it's just what, does it look good? Others is, what does this tell me? This is making me think of definitely something magical, right? Definitely there could be like a little gem, little shop in here where they sell all sorts of little stuff. Maybe it's even like a bazaar of, not a bazaar. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we have. I mean, I like my little bazaars. Yeah, it's like an otherly world field, purple against the other. Yeah, definitely. Like a magical, like I don't know, something. And so yeah, I'm just gonna do some scribbles. Try to lean into some of these vibrant colors down here. I do think it would be nice to have sort of the warm orange-ish colors up top and sort of cool purple colors down the bottom. So I'm going to try and lean into that by, well, maybe. So first of all, getting rid of, maybe turning these yellow lights into purple lights. And then what if I do like a blue overlay? So that, again, going along the lines of I wanted warm and cool. So let's just take cool and start casting this stuff into that cool. This is sometimes how I'll think of mood, right? Maybe this is too blue. But I don't want all of the light to be as like some crazy magical thing. Because I do want there to be bright parts in here. Okay, now we can come in here and maybe adding a little bit of stuff like this. Okay, now again, not really sure what's going on here, but it is something. Maybe I'm just adding too much black and I'm gonna ruin it, but I do kind of like this. And yeah, I mean, again, it's something, right? Maybe there's a darker purple down here. Some shapes back here that are stemming that are branching up. We get some bright lights coming down here. And of course, we can just erase all of this up top. I don't mind me trying to see things throughout the process. No, I like that. I mean, this is basically you're doing what I'm doing, except you're vocalizing it better. I oftentimes do see stuff like that, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out what it. I mean, the whole I'm gonna call it a myth, at least as it relates to me. The myth of sort of having this super clear vision and painting it. That's not what I'm doing, right? I am very much exploring. I'm coming up with an idea. I'm executing that idea. I'm trying slightly different versions. I'm telling a story in my head, even if that story is incomplete. Um, Maybe this is actually up top and we can see the underside of all this stuff. This is like again, I don't even know what it is. It doesn't really matter because I'm just exploring. Definitely, this one definitely has some perspective issues though. Hmm. But I guess we can leave it as this though, just big blobs of color. I like the idea though of the blue down here, the blue and purple, with the green and red up top. And again, I could take this again. I could copy it. I could paste it. Oh, not that. Let's do the whole duplication thing again. Duplicate. So yeah, I could duplicate it again. I could paste it. Um, I could try to edit tonal correction, just change up the hue. And again, maybe we get even more vibrant. Like, this is a cool color. Like, this makes me think of some sort of forest. So now I can turn this into a forest if I want. Maybe I can totally even change the perspective if I wanted and take a significant amount of repainting, but I could do it. Yeah, there's a kind of blue mist. It very much feels like a lower level than the background. Yeah. So a painting like this, obviously I changed the color a lot. But what if we go in here and add some blue up top? Change up some of these forms. This almost feels underwater, kinda. This blue. Or some almost maybe toxic, maybe not underwater. I don't know if I articulated that right, but it's a cool effect. No, I got it. Thank you for the compliments. But yeah. Oh, do you mean the effect of like the warm up top and the blue down? I mean, I like the contrast of like top and bottom. Anytime I have a scene of like, two separate rooms or an above area and a below area or whatever, I think separating them, there's a painting that I point to a lot by, I'll show it to you, by Andreas Roca. Um, Andreas Roca DeviantArt. I'm sure it's on his DeviantArt. The question is, can I find it? Gallery. Scrolling down and down and down. I don't know how far it'll be, but there's a very, oh, here it is. So this is the painting I point to a lot for interiors. I think it's a fantastic example of a cluttered room or just a cluttered hallway. Honestly, it's one of my favorite images. Let me share it. Or at least by him. Okay, so this image. I love this image. And the reason I love this image is because you have this foreground area which is all in warmth, right? All the books are warm, right? They're reds and oranges. And then in the background, you get the sense that there's an entire room back there that's in blue, right? You actually can't see the whole room, right? You feel like you could walk in, or and there's more. It opens up, and you can tell it opens up. There's a balcony up here, and you know that this area opens up. It's a little corridor, and then it opens up into a bigger space. But you have this big space as cool, and this foreground space is warm, and it's just it's background, foreground, or you could think of it as just two separate rooms, and it helps separate them. It didn't have to be like that, right? He could have had a different color, and he could have had some blue books in here and for the cool in the foreground, right? He could have done it differently, but I think it's just a nice way. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was well done. So, can you share the name? Oh, the name is I guess I could have linked the whole thing, but it's Andreas Roca. He's yeah, he does a lot of. He's a concept artist, illustrator, does a lot of cool stuff. One of my faves. Definitely an influence. Big time. Let's use a different brush for this. Let's use one of these brushes. I'm curious about the books in his art bookstore. Are they all his own drawing or kind of editing? What do you mean? At the books in his art store. Whose? Mine? Or Andreas Roca? I don't know. What does he have an art store? I haven't looked. What are you talking about? Melon Sayeko. Who? Where's the show? Oh, whoops. Here it is. Thanks, Kath. The pic where you showed, I think it was under. you okay, yeah, yeah. It's he photo bashes. So he used photo textures for that. Almost certainly. I mean, he doesn't do that in every painting, but in that one he did use some photos. Almost certainly. Yeah, there's textures in there. Um, I think what he did is he takes a lot of the textures, he'll put them in, and then he paints over some of it. After he gets the right perspective and everything. So I mean, it's not just like, how do I describe it? So like the process is in reverse of what sometimes you might think. So like it's not like he's finding an image of a library and just putting brushstrokes on it, being like, I painted this, right? So his process is more like he will come up with the composition, maybe in just black and white. Then he might drop in some colors and get some, a nice color composition. It's lay out his painting, and then he'll be like, oh, well, here's a bookcase. Then he'll go and grab some books, drop them in, and then he'll paint directly over the top of them, edit some, remove some, change things. And by the time you're done, you'd see a little, it's not so much that you can see the books themselves, but you can see little hints of texture poking through. And in some cases there are, I'm sure, direct books that you can see, but they're removed enough that it's more or less just noise, I guess. Anyway, I mean, he does do a lot of stuff like that, but no, I mean, concept art is his main thing, and yeah, there's a lot of photo bashing, a lot of photo bashing to get the idea down. Which I don't mind photo bashing. I don't really do it, but I have. Yeah, definitely not against photo bashing is what I'm trying to say. Rihanna, I'm working on that dragon at the moment. Ooh, I'm working like that on a dragon. Ooh, I'm loving this. This is cool. Yeah, I mean, I think photo bashing is great. Also changing, like, for example, not that this is what you're doing, Rihanna, but you could, for example, if you had a composition, let's say there was a pot or something in the background that was maybe not in the spot you wanted, right? You could just paint over the top of it. You could paint in a new pot somewhere else. Not everything has to be a photo, not everything has to be painted. It's a combination of both, right? You could even, sometimes it's a matter of you'll take a photo, but then you'll paint on shadows and lighting, and you'll change the designs and the details. There's a whole bunch. But yeah, this is cool, Rihanna. I like it. Yeah. I think I think as long as you're upfront with how you do stuff, I don't think it really matters. I am a big fan of use whatever tools you want in whatever way you want. Um, I don't know. I'm definitely not a purist when it comes to painting. I mean, technically, I am in the sense of like that's pretty much how I paint. But I don't believe in that though. That's not my belief. Is that you should paint and just I do think there is a difference, though. Sometimes I think you can develop bad habits potentially, and by you I mean just people in general could develop potentially bad habits by overly relying on photos. I think it's good to learn. I mean, this is kind of the to go into a really touchy topic here, AI. I mean, this is kind of one of the things that I could imagine, fast forward in the future, right? Maybe all the legal stuff is sorted out, right? We know what's legal, we know it's not, right? There's people aren't being screwed over and taken advantage of, and whatever, utopia, whatever. Let's just pretend, hypothetically. I still think there are going to be some group of people who only know how to create things with the certain tools, and the second they switch tools, they have no idea how to make stuff, right? Um, oh, the picture was yours too. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah. But I think there are going to be people who are going to be lost. Like I think if you use something as a tool, I think that's fantastic. But I think once it starts becoming the entire process and it's making the decisions for you, and you don't know how to do the thing without that process, I feel like that's a problem. At least maybe not objectively a problem, but I feel like it's a, I don't know, I wouldn't want to do that. I would want to paint in a way where if you take away my tools, I can still create images and I'm not waste I it wasn't all for nothing, right? Like I'm it's skills that build on each other. It's like in the video game genre, like what do you call them? Roguelite. Is it roguelite or roguelike? I don't know if it's a like or light. I think it's light, right? Anyway, in those games, um, like Hades or something, right? Isn't it each time you go through it, there's still things that you accumulate along the way, right? And there's still like there is some progress, even though you might lose all your most of your progress. There's still some progress that you make. I believe, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. I don't actually know that genre of game very well, but the idea that like, oh, if you die or something, and next round you didn't, it wasn't all for nothing. You did gain some skills, some knowledge, some experience. There's still something you gained. Um, even and then that, you know, now you're a little stronger, a little better next time, right? Or more knowledgeable or something. And that to me is sort of how art should be. It's like if your tools go away, you should be better after each painting, right? You should still be getting better. You should still be learning. And you should it's and I feel like if the tool is what makes your art, or if the brush is what makes your art, I question how much art you're actually doing. Kinda. I don't know. That's kind of my AI rant for the day. It wasn't directly related to AI, but I do feel that's a thing that's going to be. And it actually, so if anybody feels bad about AI, let me state this case in a way that maybe will make you not feel bad. If it's the case that people stop pushing themselves, right, really learning to obviously people are always going to paint, right? I'm not disillusioned by the fact that, oh, people are going to stop painting. But if there's some group of people who stop learning the nuance of art making or picture making, right, because they only wanted to do it to be able to tell their ideas, and now that they can do that with these new tools, they don't need to learn the other skills, right? There's going to be some group of people who have no intention of learning these hard skills because they're difficult, and they can do, you know, that was just a means to an end, right? But that also means the supply of people who are able to do that is going to go down, right? There's going to be fewer of us because there's other ways that people can make art. Um, and I think there is sort of a, I don't know, I think there's some satisfaction to learning something that not everybody is able to do, right? You kind of become the expert, so to speak, in your own little area. And I don't know, to me that's kind of satisfying. So it's almost a more motivation to keep on learning art and keep on doing tradition, you know, your traditional or digital 2D or whatever, sort of the basics. It's sort of a an additional reason to keep doing that. Hey, how are you, Rita Amir? Like I always think about those people who are hired in like in movies when they're shooting things like Lord of the Rings, who are like blacksmiths, right? They're actually working with metal and they know how to make create things. They know all the old school methods of being a blacksmith. Like that is not a thing that a lot of people do, right? Because in a lot of ways we don't need to do that anymore. But some of these old, more traditional ways of doing things, like it's not that it's useless. Like there's still going to be jobs for those people. It's just they're not going to be as common, but there's also not as many of those people doing it, right? Like people aren't like it's almost always born out of a hobby. It's always born out of a passion. Um and so yeah, it's I feel like if you are someone who is passionate about art, doing art one way, I say keep doing it. That's my hunt. That's my thing. I say keep doing the thing that you love. And yeah, maybe people will stop doing it as often. So maybe the supply will go down. But also maybe you'll be one of the only people you know, I don't know. How are you? I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm trying to come up with some ideas today, which is what I do every stream almost. Although I am looking for different formats of stream. So if anybody has any ideas for things to try, I am always open to suggestions. A while back I tried a new brush set, and I think it would be good to do some more like brush testing on stream where I do basically what I normally do, but with different brushes and I experiment with them. So that could be fun. Mad Scientist, thank you for the follow. Little road in here, kind of meandering into the back. Kind of like this. I don't know quite what's happening down here. How about making a midstream break playing a game with the viewers? I mean, that's a little bit fragmenty in terms of audience and why people are here, and then it changes, and it's like I don't do those people who were there for one reason leave. That's something that's tough on stream. I actually have played games of chess on stream before with people. No problem. What brush? What is that brush set? Looks awesome. So this is the brush that is just a brush that I have that you can download. It's extreme. It's like the only brush I use. No, that's not true. I do use other brushes. That's not how. But I have. So this is just this one brush that I'm using. I technically there's another brush set which is not mine. It is this one that I used a little bit of. This particular circle brush, which is kind of fun, kind of grainy. This brush is by Void Brush. It's been a while. True, it has been a while since the last sketch exchange. Yeah. April, May. Okay, we could do one in May. Yeah, we should do one in May for sure. But anyway, so yeah, the brush that I'm using is just called JS Canvas Oval, and it's just a really basic brush. It's has some texture, kind of a hard edge brush. It has again, yeah, some texture. If you press light, if you press hard, it can go opaque. It has a little bit of feathering and stuff at the end. The stamp looks like this. So yeah, just some texture. It's pretty basic, but no, it's good for a lot of things. I guess its main feature is that horizontally it's very skinny and vertically it's very fat, right? So without changing the brush size, you can see that not the same width, right? It's not like it. So if I want to draw something really fat and horizontal, I have to kind of go back and forth a little bit. So I have to sort of scribble stuff in. So it's not. It has it leans into a certain sort of ways of drawing it, certain shapes. But I do like it just for random blobbing in and blobbing of stuff. Okay, so we have this little path. I'm gonna get an iPad soon. Oh, very nice. I always enjoy watching studies if that's something you do. Nice to learn along with a streamer community. True, I could do a study day maybe occasionally. That could be a thing. Maybe I should schedule this. I don't know. Studies are. I always rant about studies. Not that I don't enjoy studies. I think studies are good, but I think there's the idea of a study as like a singular thing, as opposed to just studying, like, I am going to study for an exam. That, to me, studying is just like I study in every painting I do to some degree, right? If I'm going to paint something I've never painted, I can use it as an opportunity to learn about something else. And in that sense, I am doing studying. I'm looking up resources online. I am looking at references. I am trying to understand them so that I can, have that knowledge and paint with it. Um, but I think when people say I'm doing a study, oftentimes I feel like that's just doing a photocopy, which again isn't. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And ideally, it wouldn't be. But I'm always a little concerned when people are just kind of doing studies. And it's like, oh, so what are you studying? Oh, I'm studying this image. It looks nice. No, no, like, but what about the image are you trying to get away? Like, why did you pick the image? Oh, it just looks nice. I like birds or whatever. It's like, what? No, that's not a study. That's you just like the image and wanted to paint it. Like that's I understand that's the sentiment, but I think if you know, this is why I think the fundamentals are important, right? Because if you can say, if you look at a photo and break it down to its fundamentals, then you can be like, oh, I really like the perspective. I want to understand that. Or, oh, I really like the composition. I want to understand that. And so I'm going to do a study of composition, right? And that way you don't have to worry about painting the details because you're not studying the details. You're just trying to get the composition, right? So you're doing lines, you're tracing it, you're breaking it down. Maybe you're even rearranging it to see why it works or why it doesn't. Um, or maybe you're doing a study of light and so you or colors, so you pick the same colors but do a different painting, right? You don't, again, the study's on the colors, so it doesn't matter the composition or the subject, right? You can just use the colors. So to me, that's more about how I think of studies. It's specifically aimed at learning something. And so I typically will do them when I feel like I need to go out and learn more about something, right? Now it's possible that you could just do a random, say, master copy or photo study without really knowing, hey, Rune, how are you? That's who you are, right? I think I know your Twitch name. I snooped. So that's kind of how I think about doing studies. I think it's more of you have to know what you're actually trying to get out of it. To me, it's more about getting out of your comfort zone and actively trying to improve on techniques. True. So that's another way, right? Is sometimes you don't know what you're going to learn, right? This is where I am a big advocate of just finding references because sometimes you might say, I want to paint, I don't know, a tree or, there's kind of a tree shape. And so you go and find a reference. Oops. You go and find a reference for a tree, and it's like, oh, I didn't realize you can have grass growing between the barks. Like, that's I think that's kind of a cool, like, sometimes you can pick up things that you didn't know existed because of references. So that's a fun way to do studies in that you might learn something unexpected. But I feel like that's very sort of shooting in the dark. That do be some Snoopy snooping. Yeah, it was. But yeah, how are you? So anyway, that is not a bad idea though. So I think we probably will do a what do you call it? A community, what, Secret Santa, a Secret Santa, a sketch exchange at some point. I don't know when, but we typically do them around holidays, but there aren't really holidays in the summer, at least not that I know of. So we probably will just have to come up with one. Maybe like a mermaid kickoff event, which I'm not really going to do mermaid, but it's something. So yeah, that could be a thing. But yeah, hope you're doing well, Rune. Yeah, mermaids. Yeah, and it could just be mermaid themed. It doesn't have to be, but if some so basically let me give you guys a rundown for anyone who cares or might be interested. Basically what it is we do a sketch exchange where anyone who wants to participate can essentially pick a prompt or come up with a prompt. It could be anything. It could be like, two cute animals having a picnic. Okay, maybe that's your prompt. I don't know why. Maybe that's just what you want to see. And so you'll put your name into a hat along with the prompt, and whoever picks your name will end up doing a sketch. It's not like a full commission or anything, but they'll just do a few hours sketch of that prompt, and then you'll see it at the end. And of course, if you enter, you'll also be doing a sketch of somebody else's prompt. So it's sort of Secret Santa style in that nobody knows who's drawing their prompt. It's all kind of hidden, it's secret. I have a bot in Discord, it can send out those things. It's always a lot of fun. We've done, I don't know, like 7 of them probably at this point, mostly around holidays like Christmas and New Year's and what other ones? Thanksgiving or um, Halloween was one. So yeah, we do that kind of thing. So anyway, so that's always fun. But yeah, we normally have a good 30 people turn out. So yeah, it's always a lot of fun. And Valentine's, Easter, yeah, we didn't do one this Easter, but yeah, Valentine's, yeah, technically didn't do one. Did we do one this Valentine's? Did I say I was gonna do one but didn't do one Valentine's? Because I wasn't here, right? I think I said we were gonna do one when I got back, and I never did. Oh, did I lie? Did I say we were gonna do one when we get back? Oh no. I think I lied. I'm pretty sure because I was like, I'm going to Vienna, and when I get back from vacation, I'm gonna do a Secret Santa. And then I never did. I'm pretty sure. Oh man. Okay, anyway. Let's do another thumbnail, and then we're gonna vote, and then we'll pick one of these and we'll refine it a little bit. Obviously, it's not gonna be a finished painting, but that's kind of what we do. The last one we did was New Year. Yeah, and at New Year we were like, yeah, the next one will be at Valentine's. And then I left. Oh no. I can't believe it. Okay. Anyway, that's okay. It happens. But yeah, we will do one soon. Kath will make sure of it. Kath is on top of things. We could also do a spring themed one. That's true. Spring would probably be a better theme. When does spring start? I don't know my seasons. Okay, what do I want to paint? Let's see. Let's do like a I need a theme. We can do, let's see, we have this mountainy thing, a villagey thing, a sci-fi looking village, a tree, another village. We could do like, we don't really have a good forest. Let's do a good forest. 21st of March. Wait. 21st of March is spring? Really? I'm pretty sure it like snowed then. Is it really already spring? Huh. Okay. That makes it seem like it's a bigger thing, so it's not so obvious that we totally forgot about it. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna do a quick thumbnail. I'm gonna make a forest of some sort. I'm thinking something that kind of meanders down. May I recommend a ref for the forest? Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I suppose. Yeah, you can recommend a reference for the forest. I don't mind. I can't guarantee I'll use it because I'm just gonna kind of paint my own thing. But yeah, maybe. Yeah, you can definitely recommend it. As long as it's safe for work, a safe for work forest, as opposed to a non-safe for work forest, whatever that would mean. Sorry, I just joined. What theme thing was it about just now? Oh, we were talking about a Secret Santa sketch exchange for some time around maybe spring, or a spring themed thing, which I guess is already spring. I don't know. Yeah, sketch exchange, exactly. John Avon. Yeah, John Avon. I know John Avon. Yeah, John Avon's great. Also, if you want to link an image directly, you should totally do that. That way I can be lazy and I don't have to go search it. But yeah, I know John Avon. Yeah, John Avon's great. Um But yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick a forest of some sort, maybe more swampy. I don't know. Shapes. Actually, I want to use some color dodge here, so I'm gonna paint a little grayer than normal. Maybe we'll get some. Maybe there's a little bit. I guess we could go maybe in John Avon. I mean, John Avon always just uses a lot of really nice lighting, which is kind of what I oftentimes do anyway, or try to, sort of. So we could do like gotta think. But yeah, if you want to link in a specific image that you know of, feel free. I don't mind people dropping links to stuff. Um, I'm curious what sort of John Avon art you like most. I mean, dude's amazing. So yeah. So a forest. Maybe there's a big mossy tree. Maybe these trees all have a little bit of a bump at the bottom. Now let's see it. Ooh, that's a John Avon one, huh? Okay. I would have honestly, I would have never known that was a John Avon image. That I don't know why that doesn't to me almost doesn't look like one, but I'm sure it is. John Avon. I feel like John Avon. I have a very specific idea in mind when I think of John Avon's art. Uh, but I'm thinking of. I tend to think of more of his like his original uh what do you call it? Magic the Gathering art, which I guess that could be for Magic the Gathering, but huh, interesting. Yeah, these are cool. But one of the coolest guys I met was Blast talking to him. Nice. Yeah, he's one of the OGs of Magic the Gathering art. I remember him telling stories of like when they first hired him to paint like a forest or a mountain, they would literally just tell him that, be like, "We want a forest or a mountain," and he'd be like, "Okay," and then he would paint a mountain. And now they have like style guides and they have, you know, lore behind the place. They have so much sort of nuance and depth to the design and the storytelling and the concept. Um, but yeah, it was his oils over digital. He really does oils these days and it's mostly digital. Yeah. But yeah, there's but yeah, now when they give you prompts for Magic the Gathering, it's so much different than when they, you know, back in like alpha. Oops, we're gonna really get this bright light in here. It's glowing into the ground. And then I'm gonna do like an overlay in John Avon fashion. He gets these very vibrant colors often. Something like that. And then maybe a little bit of something like that. Very simple. I like this kind of these shapes back here. I don't know what they are, but you can just draw some shapes like that. Maybe I still like the bits of yellow green in back here. I feel like I can maybe some of these trees have a bits of yellow on them. Maybe this tree's even bigger than I wanted it to be. Maybe we go like this. And then down here we can go a little bit more foggy. Not foggy. What's the term? Mossy. And we can some nice shapes underneath. I don't know. These trees, that tree's kind of funky looking. Maybe there's these. Ooh, maybe we'll go like kind of fantasy style with some funky shapes down below. Stuff that's just a little different. I don't know. We're kind of getting into weird shape land, but that's okay. Something like that. But I do like these. I do like having unusual shapes a lot. I think sometimes I stick to the same shapes a little bit too much. So maybe these shapes are just a little bit more unusual. I don't really know how a forest would look like this, but you know, stream title says fantasy environment, so let's go with it. And then of course we could go some stuff like that. Maybe some other ones up here. There. Lots of little curved shapes and stuff. I think we could even put a little bit of maybe foreground green, yellow or something. A little bit of light. Maybe that's where the moss and stuff shines through. Something like that. Again, it's super loose, but I think it's not a bad foundation for a painting. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with that for now. That'll work. And again, maybe we can get some of that blue in there shining through. Okay, let's vote. Does anybody want to make a straw poll with 7 options? If you know who you are. Any mods. I can do it, of course, but I was kind of joking. Yeah, I can do it. Oh, you can. Okay, Kath. Thank you. All right, Kath. You did not need to do that. I am okay with doing it. I wasn't even sure if you were here. That was my way of calling you out of lurk. I apologize. Okay. I feel like these paintings are not all even. How many thumbs? 7. Yeah, just 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 of them. Merge them. And then I'll copy, cut, paste, move, blam, done. Okay, now time to go like that. Oops. There we go. And then merge these and paint this and that. Oops. There's this. Okay. Little tiny thumbnails. There we go. Let's vote. Here's that. Voting is going as soon as the link is dropped. All right, there is the straw poll. Straw poll is up. You may vote for any number, I believe. It's actually not working for me. Oh, there we go. Now it's working. All right, so yeah, you can vote for any numbers. For example, if you like the forest I just drew, number 3, you can vote for that. You could also vote for number 1, 2, and 3, or any of them. You could vote for all of them except for 3 if you wanted. So yeah, place your votes. I'm going to vote for that. I'm going to vote for 3 of them, actually. Not necessarily number 3, but I'm voting for 3 of them. Okay, show results. Let's take a look. Ooh, number 4 is off to the races, if that's even the expression. I can't pin it though on mobile. Okay, I can pin it. Let me go to stream, bring up chat. I'll pin it. It'll just be a second. I gotta close some links that I have. I have like 2 million things open. Pin after not 207 minutes. Oh my god, 2,000 minutes? No, 7 minutes. There we go. All right. It's up for 7 minutes. There we go. Place your vote. 4 has pink color dodge. Rigged. Yeah, rigged. I could. Oh crap! I forgot to. Oh my gosh, I'm bad at. Okay, I have to include an animal. Note to self: whatever one we pick, I put an animal in it. I promised Cass we put an animal in it. I'm reminding myself of all my promises I'm not keeping. I will put an animal in one of these. Littlefoot1, thank you for the follow. How are you doing, Littlefoot? Welcome, welcome. Hope your day is going well. Happy Monday. If you're just joining in for the very first time and would like to participate in the poll, we are currently voting on which thumbnail I will work on until the end of stream. I typically spend about another hour and a half-ish working on one of these and turning it into something. It's typically not a finished painting by any means. It's sort of just a demo of sorts of how to take a painting that maybe isn't very well refined and refine it a little bit and get it to the point where we could start to work on it more if we wanted. We do a lot of early stage stuff like that. Scald in Alaska, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Is number 4 still crushing it? Let me take a look. Yeah, number 4 is still crushing it. Well, it's a nice day here. Oh, nice. That's good. It's also nice here. It's honestly getting a little too warm. I like the winter. I like to be able to wear my long sleeve shirts and sweaters and all the stuff. I like to be cozy, and I don't like that in summer. I just end up sweating too much. Also, I feel like my internet is typically worse in the summer. Thank you. Monday went as well as Mondays can. Hope you haven't had a nice day too. Yeah, my day is going well. My day is good so far. Just a few more. Nope, never mind. We got more than a few minutes. We got 4 more minutes on voting. But while we're doing this, I'm going to take these thumbnails and put them into Discord. If I can find Discord, there it is. Thumbnails into my Discord thumbnail archive channel. I try to post all of my thumbnails in there. Just as a way to save them all. I have thousands at this point. And yeah. I have a hunch number 4 is going to win, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe number 3 or something else. Also, I'm going to save this as a JPEG. Don't forget to save your work, to stretch, to drink, all the stuff. This is kind of the break of the stream, even though technically I don't take a break. Normally I don't take a break. Maybe someday that'll change. I think if I ever do have breaks, I don't know. I oftentimes think about how I want to run stream and changes I can make and things I can do, even though we do a lot of the same sort of stuff. Yes, thank you for the hydrate redeem. Even though I do a lot of the same sort of format streams, week after week and day after day, with a lot of thumbnailing, coming up with ideas, voting, working on one of those, rinse and repeat, new painting in the new stream or whatever. I do always try to think of little ways I can improve stuff or change things. That's important to me. And it's funny. There's there's a few big YouTubers who occasionally it'll be Kit Kats. It'll be Kit Kats. Kit Kats. What about Kit Kats? I don't know about Kit Kats. Who said Kit Kats? Did I say Kit Kats? I'm lost. I've I've just gotten derailed. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Think I like Kit Kats. They're okay. They're not like high tier candy, but they're something. If there are ever breaks. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, if there are breaks. Exact. Okay, I see. It was a joke. Yeah, it went over my head. Sorry. My I don't yeah, it's easy to for me to miss things like that. I thumbnailed a landscape. Ooh, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Oh, I like it. I like it, Rihanna. It's nice. I like the mixing of the green and yellow in the foreground to background, the way you have that gradient. I like it. You have some lighting on the tree. Nice. This is very cool. Yeah, looking good. All right, we have 50 seconds. 50 seconds for voting. If you have not voted, you should vote right now. Uh, I don't know if I can repost the thumbnail. I think, or sorry, that. There's the link to the straw bowl. You have 40 seconds. 30 seconds by the time you hear this, probably, with a little bit of delay. But anyway, what I was saying before I got confused, I oftentimes will look at like what other streamers are doing to sort of get ideas and steal their ideas, copy their stream, stuff like that. I don't really do that, but I do look at what other streamers are doing to try to get an idea of things. And one of them, he's like I think he's like a political streamer. His name's Hassan. Anyway, he does this thing where he's really good at at sneakily like hinting at like, oh, there's a top of the hour ad break, and he talks about he'll just like weave it into conversations and responses, and it's always great. And that he reminds people that there's a top of the hour ad break. I mean, I don't do ads, but I'm just thinking about like in the future, like if there's ever a time to take a break, it's the midstream thing, because that's kind of what we're doing right now. Anyway, what thumbnail won? I was not paying attention. Number 4 has won. Okay, we're gonna take number 4 and do a thing. Hopefully, I never get to the point where I feel like I need to run ads, but there probably, if my stream ever grows large enough, I will, because I would be honestly a fool not to if I could actually make money by running ads. If it's as simple as I'm gonna go to the bathroom, here's an ad, like, yeah, I would do it. But I don't want to, but at the same time, right now it's just not worth it, and it honestly is detrimental to the stream. So yeah, that's not happening. Anyway, here is number 4. I'm gonna just make it large and start painting directly on it and turn it into something. I'd watch an ad for you? No, thanks. What did I just do? I just rotated it. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to do it. Like, I don't like ads. They suck. I hope to never run them. But again, if I actually could make a significant amount of money by literally pushing a button, I would do it. Like, in a heartbeat. Anyway, Painting. Okay, so first things first. What do I like about this? Well, actually, even before that, what is it? Nope, I'd nope out. Deal over. How dare you make money off your streams? Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly not a goal. Like, I don't stream to make money, or else I would be doing ads. It's funny. I think things like ads suck. Nobody likes them, and some portion of people will not stay if you're running ads. Right? Every time you run an ad, some portion of people click off. It's just a fact. Um, However, if you had a significant amount of people and you were okay with that losing a little people every time you ran an ad, then and you were still it was still justified, then I would be for it. But it's yeah, I don't know, I don't like it. I think it just it hurts streams. I think as a super small streamers, ads are not they're like probably one of the biggest detriments, and I don't really know a good way to get around it unless you have some very wealthy person who gift subs everybody in a small stream. That way they don't see ads when they show up. Technically, they could subscribe, but that's never going to be a reality for most people. Like, I hear a lot of people, like, it basically, the pre-roll ads kill stream hopping. So if you're just trying to discover a new streamer and you want to pop in various streams really quick and see what's going on, you have to, like, wait for a 30-second ad for every single one. So you basically can't browse streams as easily, which is a complete shame if you're a smaller streamer or in an oversaturated category, even if you're not a smaller streamer. But, like, it's very hard for new people to discover you because they can't just pop in and pop out, right? It's not that easy. It takes a long time. It's annoying, and after like one or two stream hops, the person's like, I'm done with ads. Right? They're not gonna sit through more and more ads. So anyway, okay. So this painting, what is it? I don't know. These are like giant, weird tree-looking things. Amanthana, how are you? So yeah, these are giant tree things. Or are they? Maybe they're mechanical. All Firefox. Does Firefox stop all ads? Does it? Do you have which plugins do you have that stop Twitch ads? That's nifty. I'm finding you. Yep, nice. Yeah, mine used to. I used to have add-ons that would stop ads, but I don't think I do anymore. I don't actually know. I especially for stream, I've been using a different browser. But yeah, I'm totally in favor of ad blocks. There's also Twitch Turbo. True, Twitch Turbo is like subscribing but to all of Twitch. And so you don't get the single user benefits, but you do stop seeing ads for yeah, so Twitch Turbo doesn't really support the creator, but it just does get rid of ads. So that's nice. Um yeah, and then subscribing is kind of a middle ground where it's half supports the creator, half gets rid of ads, and then donations or bits are pretty much direct money. Um so yeah, that's kind of the three different types, but obviously donations don't get rid of ads. So, but yeah, Twitch Turbo is definitely a good option. Honestly, Twitch Turbo is probably the best option if it's just oh it does? Oh, I didn't know that. I actually had no idea Twitch Turbo supported the creator. I Yeah, I didn't know that. That's good then. Yay, Twitch Turbo, I guess. I don't know anything about it, but I definitely am in favor of Twitch Turbo. The creator gets the same amount of money they would have had if they actually watched ads. Okay. Okay, so very little. But that is something, I guess. Okay. Okay. Good to know. All right, so I like this, but I don't know what I'm painting. So okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Sorry, I'm rambling. All right, I don't know what I'm painting. So the solution is not worry about it and experiment. So I'm going to, I think what I don't like is the blue. The colors are too jarring. So what I'm gonna do is edit the colors. And I'm going to actually lower the saturation. Well, first, what if I crank it up? That's kind of cool, actually. First, let's turn it down. And then I'm going to overlay. I just want to get a little bit less like blue, solid blue and green in here. I think these blues and greens are a little bit jarring. And I think having more purples and pinks. Anyway, I think that's better. Donate through Coffee or Patreon. Twitch takes a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't mind subs. I think subs are great. I think bits are great. I think any interaction with Twitch is great. I don't know quite how the recommended channels work on Twitch and what makes you recommended versus not, but I can imagine some sort of interaction is important. So I do think those kinds of things are great. Also, I do have a coffee, yes. Also, but it's not like a Patreon version. It's just purely for if you want to support me. Um, yeah, I do think things like subbing is worth it. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, don't sub because Twitch takes half." And while that is true, people with subs return to streams. Let's put it that way. Actually, if you're already a regular, subbing may not be necessary, right? But if you're not a regular, or if you'd like to donate a sub, if you donate it to a non-regular, that person is far more likely to re-show up to your stream, right? And so because of that, that can help boost the channel a little bit, especially in like lower viewer channels where the difference between, if 5 additional people show up, that might double the viewership. That can be really big. So gift subs in particular are really huge for helping channels. What else? That's kind of all I can think about. You don't have slight. Gosh, sorry. Sorry, Kath. I like how it's like not that big of a deal if it's not up, but also I always forget. Interesting. Yeah, I mean it's not a huge effect, but it's non-zero, right? It does. People do like if I get a gift sub. I mean, I even noticed it myself. If I get a gift sub to a random channel, I will probably go and say, I will stop by that channel soon. Right? I'm like, oh, I haven't been by that channel in a while. I just got a gift sub. Let me go drop by and say hello. Thank you for the gift sub. I'll, hang out a little bit. Um, yeah. I mean, it may not make me a, super regular viewer or anything, but it all adds up. Anyway, I do feel like this could be a something. I don't know what these are, but I want to add like I want to add something to them. So how is people? I am doing well. I am doing well today. Today's just a nice day in general. I guess a little tired. I've been busy with work, kind of. Some work, some other stuff, and also just not a great sleep schedule lately. But I think my sleep schedule is turning around. Anyway, maybe there's some little tree things back here. Because I don't really know what this is, I feel like I want to. Well, I guess we can do this. We'll put some of these branches out here. I'm kind of curious what would happen if I bring some of this stuff down. like bring these down. And I'm gonna sort of ruin the painting real quick. But yeah, I've been good. I've been good. I see. Hope the sleep schedule. Yeah, it's hard. I work at weird hours, and because of that, it kind of switches around every week and or multiple times a week. And I have stream at a time where it is never conflicting with my work. So it's almost by definition at a time where it's not super great, but it's also it's reliable. Anyway. Ooh, these could be little plants down here. Maybe there's like a oh yeah, we needed an animal. I promised Neo an animal in this. Okay, we're gonna put a little animal. What kind of animal? I'm thinking it could even be a fantasy animal. I see. So this is how you can come up with four thumbnail sketches so fast, smart, and talented. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of a lot of thumbnail sketches. Pretty much every stream, I do a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing I do a lot, right? Yeah, a giraffe. Hold up. Yeah, yeah. Hold up. I'm holding a giraffe. I don't know about a giraffe. I'm thinking something could be fantasy themed. Um, but yeah, yeah, I do a lot of thumbnails, pretty much every stream. I guess I can show you if you haven't since you haven't been here before. But yeah, I typically will start a stream with a blank canvas. I'm just gonna select. Let's find something. Sometimes they don't turn out super great though. That's the struggle is they don't always turn out good. Beholder, ooh, maybe. Um, so for example, here was one stream where I did a bunch of little thumbnails. In this case, these were like a little city. I actually want to redo this one someday. Um, and then we vote on them, and then in this case, we picked this one. And of course, it was very blobby, but I eventually turned it into a painting that I think you've seen, which is this one, right? So we do a bunch of little quick sketches on stream. These might only take, I don't know, 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes or something per little sketch. And then, or not, sometimes even less than that. Sometimes it'll be 5 minutes. But again, a 5 minute sketch. But this is very different than a commission because when I'm coming up with the idea and I don't have a pre-planned idea, then I can kind of just pivot and do something different, right? Like if in the painting that I'm working on now, if at any point I wanted to like add a unicorn, I could add a unicorn, right? I don't have to be like making sure it fits the prompt because there is no prompt. So these are much easier than a commission because commissions have restraint or they have like there's a boundary, right? There's things that have to be done, and you can either hit the mark or miss the mark. There's a mark to be had, right? And there isn't in this. So this is definitely a difference that I think is not always immediately apparent from just an outside viewer because it kind of looks like the same process, which in some ways it is, but it's different, right? So, but anyway, yeah, we do a lot of this. I got to work now, so I'm gonna be on my merry way. Take care. Good luck at work, Hazel. Thanks for stopping by. We could do a unicorn. I don't know. I don't really paint. Gosh, unicorns and horses are so like one of the hardest things to paint. I could do that. I'm not sure if I would want to on stream because it would probably just take up like 50 minutes to get the basics down. And yeah. But yeah, lots of vibrant stuff. You work from home. It's 10 p.m. here. I'm just going to work on my mom. Oh, I see. I got to work now. That's cool though. Trying to finding this Bomb Zelda fan art. Nice. Uh, Mr. Jigsaw, thank you for the follow. Where they did spirit animals. Think that fit? Yeah, I think yeah, that could be a thing. I think I'm just gonna add some simple characters, maybe a character and a cat or something. Um, Again, just little hints of characters. Like I'm not gonna, it's not character art. It's not going to you know, be super character central, but yeah, maybe we'll just start with some blobs. Maybe there's a I don't know what that is. I'm not sure what shape that is, but there we go. A Pegasus? Ooh, maybe a Pegasus. Gosh, you guys are listing like horse variants. This is like the artist's curse right here. Or some Pengas? Pengasi? I don't know what Pegasus. I assume the first one you meant Pegasus. What's a Pengasi in this? I don't know what a Pengasi is. Yeah, you're listing like the hardest thing. Like draw a horse, Horses are like the tippy top of like difficult animals. One, their anatomy is extremely specific, right? They are familiar. They are not as familiar as like humans. Draw a bite. Yeah, a horse on a bicycle on a spiral staircase. The classic example. You got the difficult perspective, the difficult mechanical object that that challenges your drawing, complex forms in perspective. You also have, yeah, staircase, bike, and then of course anatomy, or a human or a horse, both. A human on a horse on a bike. That would be a thing. Pink floating jelly. Yeah, I don't think they're I think they were supposed to be, or I say they supposed to be. I'm literally the one coming up with it. But yeah, they're kind of in the trees, or they are trees. I don't know if it's, maybe they're not real trees. I don't know. Latin, more Pengasuses are Pengasi. Oh, I didn't know that. Had no idea. Okay, well, now I know. Ooh, you meant the animal to add. Okay, that's not a bad idea, actually. That would fit the colors for sure. That person looks old here. We're gonna change their. I mean, I could just find an image. Okay, I'm gonna do an. Let's do a horse, or okay. Let me Google an image of this. I'm gonna do the cheaty method. I'm gonna cheat. Horse image. Okay, 3/4 version horse. All the horses are facing us. I want a horse. Oh, there we go. Do I have a reference file open? No. Let me find a reference file. Pure ref. Open. Horse. That's a good image. That was not what I wanted. Oh no, oh no, I clicked off and now it's gone. Oh no. Where did it go? Oh, there it is again. I found it. Saved. Okay. Let's do another image of a horse running away, 3/4 view. Let's click on that one then. There we go. All right. Playing Magic on my phone. Once I win, I got it. All right, no worries. Yeah, Magic is great. I haven't played it Magic Arena in a long time though, and definitely haven't played it on my phone ever. I feel like I would get too addicted if I put it on my phone. Pink floating jellyfish style thingies. Yeah. Latin, more Pegasus. Ooh, I like that. Littlefoot. Um, looks like Bing isn't such a good reference. Place. Ah, Kath. Trying to hate on Bing. It'll never work. Bing is superior. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna try to draw a horse, and then if I want, I can make it float. Oh, let's erase it first. And then I can, if I want, I can make it float and I can add wings and I can make it a Pegasus. But first, I'm going to try to sketch in the horse shape. Horse shape. And by the way, when I said I'm going to do the cheaty method, I was actually meaning I was going to just purely trace. I don't actually think it's cheating, and nor do I think using references is cheating, of course. That would be silly. But I only said that because people sometimes, whenever I bring in photos directly to trace, people are like, "Oh my God, you're cheating," which is kind of, again, it's just a joke on their part. But yeah, I don't normally advocate tracing. I think that's I think if you want to actually learn to paint something, you should not trace. I think tracing is in that case quite bad. Gonna call the art police. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I think tracing is good though to start to learn something, and then you can kind of get rid of it. Even 911 dialed already. Yeah. Okay, I have a stupid question. In other countries, is 911 always 911, or do they have other numbers? I assume there's other numbers, right? Are they all 911, or are some 911 but others not? Like the fact that you just said 911, Kath, makes me think that 911 is the number that you would dial. Here it's 112. Okay. No, okay. So is it always different then, or is also this is the wonkiest looking horse. 112 in Europe. Okay, good to know. This is the worst looking horse I've ever drawn. It's probably not. Of all the horses I've drawn, it's probably one of the better, to be honest. I don't really draw horses that often. Horses are hard. Okay. And then wings. No, maybe I don't know if I want to make it a horse. I mean, we can make it a unicorn. There's a unicorn. Countries have their own versions, but 112 is the shared one that will always work within Europe. Okay, that's good to know. You can always call any emergency number, I think, and they'll connect you. Okay, that's good to know. UK is 999, but everyone knows 911 from TV and stuff. Yeah, see, as an American, I only know 911 because I am an ignorant American who only knows American stuff. Uh, had to jump through hoops, but found it. Ooh, let's take a look. Ooh. Yeah, I like that. Oh, I like the little glowy things in that. That's a cool picture. Good picture. I like it. I like the glowy stuff. That's a fun way to do it. Yeah, I like that a lot. Good image. Yeah, see, I feel like here, if I were to, just trace my bad horse drawing, bad unicorn, ignore my tracing, pretend that it's good. And then if I were to just take a bright color, be like, boom, bright. It's kind of cool, actually. I like the idea. Man, I can't wait for Tears of the Kingdom. See, I do like the idea of these glowy things. Like, it's just glowy animals in general. I think that looks better. That's a good idea. I'm liking the glowy stuff. We're gonna have, but maybe not glowy, maybe white. I don't know. And we'll put some shadows under here. Give it wings. Okay, glowy with wings. Okay, fair. Let's just go all out. You have to make the wings have a shape though that can be seen in the silhouette version. See, the problem is that right now, if I in this current angle, right? If I just put wings on, it might break the silhouette of the back and then suddenly it's confusing, right? So it's possible I could add like something like this. And with a simple Zelda picture to sketch. No, I mean, no, I do like to. Oh no, that was the wrong layer. Crap. Hold on. I gotta figure out how to do this. But no, the idea of glowy animals and stuff is great. We've done it a few times before. It does make it just look instantly magical, and it kind of removes the need for accuracy a little bit, which I like. It goes from needing accurate horse anatomy to not mattering at all. Although I'm trying to figure out what to do here with the. I don't know how to draw horse. I'm gonna have to look at more references for this though. Back leg will be in blue. Ah, this is not working. That's okay. And then we'll go like just glowy. Hey, Burbs, how are you? Okay, so yeah, there we go. Thanks for the follow. All right, so there we go. We're just gonna put in the glowy thing. But now I want maybe some glowy stuff around here as well. We gotta have some ground plane. Doing good. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Doing well. We're in the second half of the stream. Started out with a bunch of little, look, not that, little sketches. Technically, we didn't do these today either. Hold on, let me find the stuff we did. Let me close all my various tabs. But yeah, we start out streams with a bunch of little sketches. So these were the sketches today. We voted. We voted on number 4. I took it and I started doodling on it, and now we have this. It's obviously very loose, and it will stay very loose, but that's yeah, that's kind of what we typically do on stream. Lots of little one-day stream paints, sort of coming up with ideas on the fly and turning them into stuff. Always, taking people's recommendations a little bit or trying to be inspired by them. Forbidden Hat, how are you? Anyway, so I think this, as far as I don't know what these are. They're weird fantasy trees, so I guess this will work. Weird fantasy. I like the silhouette now. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm not quite sure what's going on with this wing. I kind of feel like there's a wing somewhere in here that I can't see, and so this little blue shape is sort of implying that it might be there. Right? Like the blue shape is like if I do it with a dark color, right? The wing might be like here. Not gonna lie, modern Bob Ross vibes. No, thanks. I appreciate it. Anyway, also the back side of the horse, so like everywhere there's dark, like here is I'm doing the light color. That was kind of based on the reference that Rune posted. Anyway, this carrot becomes 5 of the of I love that. Number 5 in the world. Is that what it is? Last week became 5th of the world. Oh, that's super cool. No, that's awesome. And that's your how are they I forgot what their relation to you was. That sister or something? I love the carrot unicorn, by the way. Yeah, your sister. Okay, that's super cool. Well, congrats to her. 5th in the world. 5th in the world at anything is incredibly impressive. That's insane. Okay, anyway, here's the horn. Okay. Alrighty, so what's next? I'm kind of liking the overall vibes of this painting, but it's extremely unrefined. I have no idea what it is. I feel like there needs to be some brightness up here as well, because that would make sense. And maybe like little flower petals or something falling down. I feel like we have to have some atmospheric things in the atmosphere. Little like I don't know, things in the sky. Maybe not. Maybe that's just shouldn't have been added yet. Okay, shape design. Also, if I can figure out what these things are, I guess these are just some sort of they're just some weird fantasy trees, I guess. We can also paint some in the distance. I do think we need a more foreground, midground, background. My sister is from the Netherlands. Says Rihanna. Yeah, a lot of people in here are German speaking and other languages. Europeans, lots of Europeans in chat. Anyway, I'm going to paint in some of these darker shapes right here. Trying to get some foreground, midground, background. Fantasy cherry. Yeah, some weird. I mean, they kind of have cherry blossom vibes, but they're not really. I don't know. I guess just some fantasy um tree of some sort. Now we can put little purple or not purple, reddish, pinkish colors in here. Right along the edges. Put little bits in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the whole painting and just turn it into one layer so that I can blur out some of the background. I'm normally not a huge fan of blurring stuff. I like to just make it more loose and painterly. But for time saving, on stream because I like to finish stream in about half an hour, if possible. I feel like this horse needs a little friend. Hold on, we gotta give this horse a friend. We can't just have one horse. We gotta get a little mini horse. Let me find an image of a very rambunctious little horse. Baby horse. Baby horse. Perfect. Magic the yeah, Lorwyn. Oh yeah, it does have a bit of Lauren vibes. Lorwyn. Yeah. That's basically when I started. So I had played Magic as a kid, and then I quit, and then I started playing again. And when I started playing for the first time after I had quit for a long time, like basically never really played serious, right after Lorwyn, I think it was just I mean, was Ravnica after? When was I think it might have been. I think I probably started playing after in Ravnica again. I don't remember. But from Ravnica all the way until, through Zendikar, through, World Wakes block, um, I I played pretty seriously and competitively until, kind of competitively, um, until Scars of Mirrodin is when I like quit officially, kind of quit or stopped playing hard a lot. Put it that way. I played a lot until up through Scars of Mirrodin. Yeah, Magic's fun. It's one of the it's very creative. It's funny to think back through like my life and think of the things that I did and the things that I'm drawn to. I always enjoyed the deck building and the just the endless amount of options that you have in creativity to make cool decks. That was my by far my favorite part of Magic the Gathering. Still is. Crafting your own deck, homebrew type stuff. I also always had that sort of a competitive edge, so it was always sort of metagaming and taking the best decks, figuring out what they're good against, what they're not, um, and sort of building decks specifically to beat them. Um, that was always my thing, and I actually never cared about the art. Funny enough, I never gave it any attention until I started doing art, which was after I had basically quit playing Magic. And I'm like, oh my god, I have all this art. I have all these cards that is just amazing. And I've been surrounded by it this whole time and never even noticed it really because I just cared about the game. And so now it's yeah, I've obviously revisited it all and I love it and it's great. I've even started playing it again at some point. And obviously paid attention to the art more. I also every few months I look at the site called Mythic Spoilers to just stay up to date on all the new sets. Look at all the art, any art that stands out. I look at the artist name and I Google their art and I go follow them on social medias and yeah, so it's definitely a source of finding new artists and yeah, it's great. I highly recommend it. Magic the Gathering has so many good artists. It's one of my like monthly things I do pretty much is look at Mythic Spoiler and all the all the new art, all the new cards. Okay. So now I'm kind of detailing, which is really weird at this stage. I should not be detailing. This is way, way too soon. But makes so much sense. Yeah. Wait, what makes so much sense? Just the finding good artists and or what? Sorry. What drew me to your Twitter, to be honest? No. But yeah, definitely influenced by magic. Magic has always been a part of my life pretty much, and the art obviously has influenced me, even though like I said, I didn't really know it. I actually started out with stream, um we were talking about how when we look back at things and like trying to come up with why I'm trying to understand why we did things or decisions we make, and how basically my take is that we're really terrible at it. And it's funny to think like in hindsight, it's like, oh, of course this is why I like the type of art that I like. I played Magic for 20 years or whatever, and however long. And it's like, no, I don't know if that actually had an effect because I never paid attention to the art. It just happened to be that it's probably why I like fantasy art, right? Because I have been surrounded by fantasy stuff, right? Video games and Magic the Gathering. Like there's been fantasy around me my whole life. But the art specifically, I kind of never paid attention to. Um, Outside of visual cues, I mean, I guess that's just testament to that oh yeah, I was gonna draw a little baby baby horse or baby Pegasus. Hold on. Let's do that. Let's try to do that. Okay, so we have horse, we have leg, we have body, we have head. Trying some gesture drawing. Okay. Do I like that? Kinda. It's okay. Let's block it in. Can adjust some things. Its head can be a little bigger. Again, not really worried about anything too concrete right now. Especially since we haven't even figured out the lighting here. It's a little cow. It's not a cow. Oh my goodness. Kath, you don't even know what a horse looks like. This is totally a horse. It's not a cow. Quiet. Yeah, it kind of does look like a cow. How would you like it if someone said that? What if you're... I'm trying to draw a horse here and someone's like, that's not a horse. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hold up. We will make it a horse. It's not the scale that it's gonna be. I'm just trying to sketch in the blobs. Little Pegasus. There we go. There. Does that still look like a cow? Raid! Lilu Art, how are you? Welcome, Raiders. how did you get into digital painting? Did you transition from traditional or learn it from scratch? Um, that is a good question. I'm going to answer it in just a moment. Let me welcome in the Raiders. Raiders, welcome in. How are you? My name is Joe. I paint mostly environments. Today I'm painting apparently a cow with a horn and wings because it's an alicorn right there. It's a cow corn. It's a cow with wings. But anyway, yeah, I mostly paint environments. Today we started with a bunch of little sketches like uh, these, and then we didn't start with these. We actually started with a blank canvas, and then we voted. We voted for this one, and then I turned it into this so far. So obviously the colors changed, kind of fantasy vibes. So yeah, that's what we're doing. It's a really nice cow. Thanks. I think it's pretty beautiful. Yeah, that's what we do best here. I don't typically paint animals. Animals are hard. Horses in particular, or horse variants like unicorns, are even more difficult. They're definitely one of the hardest animals for me, and I think for a lot of people. But we'll get it looking right. We will get it looking right. But yeah, how are you? How is your stream? Would you like to share what you were working on? And yeah, thanks for coming in, everyone. If you'd like to share what's the art, yes, art tax. Pay the art tax. You do not need a link. No link required. I'm trying to do this with just bright colors, which makes it a little bit hard. This one was obviously much more simple in its shape because well, for starters, I just kind of had a different process of drawing it. This one I started out much more gestural. Hey, I came for nice cows, not disappointed. Nice. Welcome in, Breckier TV. I'm working on some emotes at the moment. Stream was great. Oh, nice. Would you like to share? Would you like to share any emote or drop a link to your social so I can, show off all of your beautiful stuff, assuming that you do art. I mean, you do art, I know. So, yeah. Also, if anybody else wants to share, please do. We love seeing what people are working on or have worked on. I just like seeing art. Just share the art. If you're an artist and you want to share, please do. If you're not an artist and you want to share, well, I guess this sucks. But you can still share, maybe, I don't know, you can make some art. If you're not an artist, why the heck not? What's wrong with you? Just kidding. But yeah, you should definitely share. I think this foot is funky. She's just shy about her art as amazing. No, I'm pretty sure I've seen your art. Yeah, your art's great. I could share my Instagram, but unfortunately I rarely post there. But here you go. All right. I'm going to share it on Yeah, your stuff's great. Well, you should start posting more. Anyway, oh my god, this strawberry with is that a grape? What is that? Okay. Anyway, almost not safe for work. Yeah, the little Hollow Knight is wonderful. Yes, this is so cute. Also, look at the glowy stuff and the color dodge. We love our lighting like this. It's amazing. It was a request. Yeah, this is something else. I'm not sure. It's something. These are all great. Oh, it's time lapse. I am so glad that I'm not alone in this. How you had went over in the sketch to get the shape of the head right. You drew like 100 lines to get just a circle. I Thank you. I'm so glad other people are like that, where it takes you like a simple shape is like, how do I draw a triangle? And you're like struggling, and then finally it just starts clicking, and it's like, okay, I got it. Sometimes it's like that. That's a sausage writing strawberry. It's super great. It's something. But yeah, no, this is wonderful all the time. Yeah, no, I realize. I think I'm sitting here waiting for this to go through. It's yeah, but yeah, it's great. Ooh, I love seeing this process. Also, I didn't know you can have videos this long on Instagram. No, I love it. All the little lighting effects. Yeah, this is super cool. I love seeing stuff like this. Just seeing a little bit how people work. Different people do things different ways. Ooh, that was just a rough. Oh, was that just an initial sketch? Oh, so you're reworking it. Okay. Nice. It should be shorter because I think it's pretty boring to sit through this process. It's interesting though. I see. I like how you had an idea and then you changed it. You kind of like there's that moment where you pivoted. I was not satisfied, so I reworked it. Yeah, I mean that happens all the time. But you kind of were informed by the stuff. Okay, I do kind of want to skip ahead. I now I feel like I have to sit through it, but I feel like it might take 20 minutes. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I feel like it could take a whole 20 minutes. It's not that it's boring, it's that I don't know. It's the there's no like it's not like YouTube where you can see the progress bar, right? But it was your first process fit. No, it's super cool though. Oh, what did you use for your process video? Or like what how did you record it? And what program did you use? Because it definitely doesn't look like a Clip Studio Paint process video. This looks more like a something else. Mm-hmm. But it is, yeah. Oh, it is. It's Clip Studio Paint. Dang, that must have been a ginormous file. Really? Okay. So this must have been like the full 5 minute version or whatever. I don't know how long they can get. Oh, that's fascinating. But yeah, Clip Studio is great. If you guys don't know Clip Studio Paint, this is the program that I'm using. And also that Lilu's art. This is not my art, by the way. Ooh, I love how you brought that back. Ooh, see now it really picks up speed here with all the glowy effects. I guess I just export it and slapped on Instagram as is. Okay, I see. So you did the full version. See, I normally just do the 60-second version because sitting through it, well, one, I'm impatient as heck, but also okay, there we go. Ah, I didn't even get a pause on the final. Okay, whatever. Anyway, this is the final. Uh, it's wonderful. It's amazing, and we love it. Okay. Thank you so much for coming into the stream and sharing your wonderful art with us and your wonderful community. Ooh, you know what's funny? After flipping back, I just realized all of this back here, you can't tell that all of this is supposed to be behind these things. I really love your art style. Aw, thank you. There. Yeah, I feel like here you almost couldn't tell that the light was in the background. I don't know. It was weird, but I think this is gonna be better. Just to separate these things a little bit. There. Okay, now, yeah, I feel like when you say my art style, it's funny. Everyone is always like, oh, I don't have an art style. Obviously, I do have an art style, and you have an art style, and we all have an art style because art style, just for anyone who doesn't know, is a combination of many things. I like to say it's of four things. It is a combination of your skills. So if you're really bad and you are a total beginner, obviously your art style is going to look like a beginner, right? Okay. It's also your interests, the things you paint, how what do you like, the subject matters, even your tastes of like composition and all those things, right? Those are your interests. You have preferences, right? It's also a combination of your tools, right? If you use chalk, you're obviously never going to have a painting that looks like somebody who painted with watercolor, right? So tools are also part of it. Also, what's the fourth one? Hold on. I don't know, but there's a fourth one, I swear. Anyway, so yeah, art style always is developing, right? Because you're always getting better, your interests are always changing, and your tools often change, right? But you can never separate all of them at once. Like you're always going to have something. Anyway, so yes, I just want to throw that out there. When people say they don't have art styles, even if you switch up your medium, even if you switch up your subject matter, you're still going to have your skills that are going to carry over, your lack of knowledge or your knowledge in certain subjects. You're always going to have those things, right? I've given this whole spiel before. There's at least four. Can only think of three though. Oh, process. Process is another. I guess process. You could probably say tools, but anyway, tools and process. So switching up how you paint, certain things that you do are going to affect. I guess process. Maybe process. I don't know. Maybe there's a different one. But anyway, so yeah, everybody totally has a style. Sometimes your style's not quite where you want, maybe because your skills isn't there, maybe because you don't like the way that you work or your process, or maybe you feel like your tools are uninteresting. Whatever it is, you still have a style. And you can always change it. It can always grow. Anyway, that's why the illustration I put up in the chat kind of doesn't feel like my style. It's different tools, different technique. Yeah. Yeah, but it still has a, subject matter and it still has skills. Like you didn't just magically get worse. Like if you know how to draw a subject, you're going to be like, yeah, that's how you draw certain subjects, right? I mean, I will admit sometimes the styles that poke through are especially if you're experimenting, are the things that maybe you don't intend, like your lack of knowledge and certain, if I always have the same boring perspective because I don't know how to do perspective, then obviously it's going to shine through in all my paintings. And even if I switch up style and everything, or switch up my medium, it's still gonna, you're still gonna be able to see like, oh, you still haven't learned perspective. So yeah, it's a thing. But yeah, I do just want to clear that up because I feel like this is always a hot topic when people are like, I don't have a style. Yes, you do. You have a style. And then there's also the term stylizing, right? This is like you can put an emphasis on certain things. You can exaggerate things, or you can do like Disney style, right? They have like a style guide where how they stylize different things, but that's not like a personal style. Technically, you could have that as like your interest could be that visual style, and you could lean into that. Anyway, okay. Changing topics though. This tree doesn't have any form. Let's give it some form. And by form, I mean things shining down on it, or areas of light and shadow that make it look like it's three-dimensional. Things like contouring it, right? Seeing underneath these branches a little bit. So I'm painting on the underside. Let's finish the unicorn a little bit. If there's one thing we do before stream ends, it's making this thing look like a unicorn and not a unicow. A unicow or cow corn. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't think it looks like a cow. It did have kind of the chunky flat nose and stuff. That's, but yeah. I do get the feeling though that like, oh, this, and I think there's a difference between not like I guess going back to style. I think it's totally fine not to like your style, and I think it's totally fine to want to get a better style. But to me, focusing on style is pointless, right? Because you, as long as you keep getting better, your style will keep changing and improving, and as long as you keep liking things and painting what you like and your taste change, your style will change. Like I think focusing on the technique and process, like it's good to experiment with that for sure, but it's not like you're gonna change your styles. It always looks like a unicorn. Uh, Lilu, take care. Thanks for coming in. Anyway, thank you for checking out your art, and thanks for the great chat. But I wish you a good night and have a great stream. See ya. Take care. Have a good night. Have a lovely evening, guys. Cheers for the chat. Your art is fine as gravy, mate. Fine as gravy. I like gravy. I'll take that as a compliment. Thanks. I appreciate it. Good old gravy. All right. Let's try to get this unicorn thing looking like a unicorn, though. I feel like its head is something more massive than it needs to be. Something like that. I could give it an eye. Does it need eyes? I feel like it doesn't actually need eyes. There you go. Now I'm going to paint this one a little bit better. It doesn't really have a neck. Well, yeah, it doesn't, does it? You're right. I mean, okay. Okay, you're right. Let's move its head up. Wait, what just happened? Here. Merge. Copy, paste. There we go. Yeah, that was a good observation. It's easy to get tunnel. Now its neck is too big, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it's a little too big. Let's move it down. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now I'm gonna come in here. I think I had another photo of the reference I was using for this horse. I think I got it. Horses are hard. It's always a difficult thing, and I could spend like an entire stream just on painting horses, which is not very informative or interesting to watch, probably. Which is why I don't like doing some of this stuff on stream. It's not always as exciting. But sometimes I think it's okay to make exceptions. Maybe this one, maybe this leg will come up. Nah. Put down there. And then we can have the big, that right there. The big hoof, the hoof, the hoove, the hooves. There we go. All right, now we can take some of these darker shapes behind here and put them through. Oh, saving. I kind of want to see what happens if I color dodge this. I mean, I realize these are already just bright white, but there might be something that can happen. I have a hunch it won't look good. I leave you now as well. Thanks for your stream, Stiller. Good night. Yeah, have a good night. Yeah, I'm ending soon too, so it's kind of a wrap up. Although I am trying to just quickly polish some of this stuff. Like I'm not gonna worry about the rest of this. I'm just gonna worry about the unicorns. I this is something this is the one part of the painting where I would call it practice. And what I'm practicing is a very specific thing, which is actually painting the focal points as opposed to all the other stuff that I like to paint, like the background and the environment. Because as long as the focal point looks good, I think you can get away with a lot looser of a. If they have wings and a horn, it's called an alicorn. Okay, that'll be good to know when I take it to Twitter, so I don't get flamed. There's always going to be somebody who's like, excuse me, that's not a unicorn. Kidding. I don't actually. I've never had people say that really. People have always been extremely kind on Twitter. I just like to pretend that people would say that on Reddit. Reddit is the place where if you post something, somebody's gonna correct you and be like, excuse me. This thing goes to that Sailor Moon outro, baby, baby love. Yeah, it doesn't. Don't let horse Twitter go after you. Nah, I think horse Twitter would be pretty cool. But yeah, I do think I remember. So I had a painting of a. Also, hi Steph. Hope you're doing well. I had a painting of a dragon, of a leaf dragon or something, and or no, what one was? At some point I had pasted a dragon, and somebody's like, excuse me, that's a wyvern, or no, not a wyvern. No, sorry, it wasn't a wyvern. It was a different kind of dragon, like very specific or something. And maybe it wasn't that. It was a different. I don't remember when it was, but I got called out at some point because I had called something that it wasn't. And then another time I had posted something on Reddit. This was like 5 years ago. There was that piece with the tiger and the girl or something. They're like, um, I just want to point out that that environment, there are not tigers in Egypt. I'm like, dude, it's a fantasy painting. Stop. There's not. Anyway, so that was a thing. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't even remember what the comments were. But anyway, people like to tell you how unscientifically accurate your fantasy paintings are. Which I don't mind. I think it's humorous. I take it all in good stride. Moon power. Yeah. I need to figure out how to make money, not work. I miss vacation. See, I'm the opposite. I feel like I'm working a lot because in the sense of doing like streaming I count as work kind of. Maybe not. Maybe you don't count it as work. I count some things as work, but I don't really get paid a lot. or at, sometimes at all. So I feel like I'm the opposite. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing a ton of stuff and not getting paid, which I kind of like. Like I not the not getting paid part, but the I like the doing the stuff. that I'm choosing to do. But yeah. What a mood. The horn's crooked. Is the horn crooked? That's too bad. It's gonna stay crooked for now. I'm not too worried about fixing that stuff. We're too close to the end of the stream. I just want to get the nice parts nice looking. No, I'm messing. Oh, okay. I mean, even if you weren't, I wouldn't have been surprised because it could be. I didn't really see it though. That's why I responded that way. The wings are crooked though? Probably. Probably. If I don't, when people say stuff like that, I don't mind it. I obviously see if I agree with them. Like, that's always my first question is like, do I agree with that? Because if I do, then I'll change it. But if I don't see what they're talking about, I'll be like, whatever. Because normally, I feel like I know enough about art because I've, been doing art for a long time and I watch and read and consume a lot of art. And typically, when somebody says something, right, they're like, your anatomy's off, the leg should be longer. If I look at it and if they're right, it's immediately going to stand out. It's going to be like, holy crap, you're right. How did I miss that? Right? And that's typically the response is, oh my God, I didn't even notice, right? It's sort of like a blind spot, right? And it happens all the time where you have blind spots, you're painting, you don't notice something, there's a tangent. Somebody points out a tangent, it's almost objective, whether you have one or not, right? If you do, they point out, it's not like I don't agree with your idea that it's a tangent. Normally it's like, oh, I just didn't notice it, right? It could just be something simple with composition like this. Like I have these three things here. Do I really want those shapes to be like that? Well, no, let's fix it. Let's make it more interesting. Let's change it a bit. Also, I don't want it to look like I'm outlining the horn, right? So maybe it comes down this way. Behind the... No, I don't want it to go behind the horn because... So maybe like that. There's just two of these. And we can have some additional shapes leading our eye into the unicorns, or the alicorns. I'm gonna have to look up that term. So some additional shapes. But I want them very soft. I don't want them actually... There. And then I like this little light blue that I put in here, which was kind of by accident. But we're gonna play with it. Bring in some more. I kind of feel like a little vignette would be good, right? Because right now, I feel like we should have light shining on them a little bit, which is sort of what I try to do with like the little snow or blossoms falling down. Okay, so that I don't know how I'm going to do this actually, but let's try. I guess we could try a multiply. I don't think multiply is going to be a good way to do it. Also, Mox Light, how are you? Yeah, I don't think multiply is going to be a good way, but we could maybe. A little bit of a vignette to sort of push the... a little bit of a spotlight in there. A little bit of multiply. A little bit on the edge here. There. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see. What else can we do real quick before we call it finished? And by finished, I mean this is not a finished painting, but I don't ever want to give the impression that these are actually finished paintings. They would not hold up on their own if I were to print them or make them large and just, it's obviously very, this is very, very loose, right? All of this could be refined and worked on. Yeah, I just want to throw that out there. But it is a good foundation, right? And that's what I'm all about, is getting a good foundation for a painting so I could come in here and start painting. Also, whoever recommended the unicorns, that was a good idea. Kath, I think that was you. Thank you for that. Solid recommendation. See, I'm glad I didn't go with giraffe. I don't know how to make giraffes magical. I'm sure there's a way. You know what? I think I should do that. One of these days I should take it as a challenge to make like a fantasy magical looking giraffe, right? Unicorns just have like they've been so overdone so that, glowing unicorns or things with magic and sunlight and rainbows and like all the lighting and that's kind of the way that they like that mood fits. Yeah, magic and unicorns fit, right? Because that's what they're all about. Drafts, I feel like, don't have that sort of strong visual history of like people making them look magical, right? But how do you go about making them look magical without making it cheesy? You win nothing but admiration. Yeah. So speaking of stream challenges, we were talking about somewhere in May, maybe at the start of May, doing another sketch exchange. So anyone who wants to join can do sketch exchanges with us. Basically, I haven't picked a date for it yet, but it'll probably be a Saturday. And essentially, what the sketch exchanges are, they're kind of Secret Santa style. So you pick a prompt, or you come up with a prompt. I don't give supply them, but you supply them. So you come up with a prompt that you would like to see somebody draw, and then you put your name into a hat. And if they pick your name, they will draw it, and you won't know who picks your name until they post their art, and then you can see all the stuff. And same thing, if you enter, you will be also drawing art, so you'll draw someone else's prompt, they'll draw yours, but it was not going to be a switch. It's all random. So I might draw yours, you might draw Cass might draw somebody else's. So we do a lot of that kind of thing, or not a lot, but that's going to be something that we do, hopefully coming up early May. Hello, first time here. Love the composition and lighting. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think composition and lighting. It's funny. There was a question. I'm going to end the stream with a rant here because I'm basically finished with this painting for today. There was a question on Reddit regarding color theory. It was like color theory and like how what is your relationship with it and what are your thoughts or something. And I'd like to treat those little questions as sort of moments of self-reflection and thinking like, oh well, I like colors, like that's kind of something that I find to be one of my strong suits, arguably, that and maybe composition. But I would argue that color is something that I'm pretty okay with, right? I'm pretty comfortable using color, getting good moods down, all that kind of thing. I'm not perfect at it. Obviously, I have a lot of work to do, always do. But yeah. So I was thinking, it's like, okay, well, how do I think about color theory? And I feel like and my response was essentially what you just said was, I don't really think of it as color theory, right? Even though we're talking about colors, I think of it as lighting, right? I think of it as you have things in a scene that have some color to them, but then you have like a blue light shining on the whole scene. So everything gets a little bit of blue. And then you might have a yellow light highlighting a few things. And so those things are blasted with bright, warm yellow, which makes them warmer, right? And it's like, and then of course you have bounce light and stuff, but everything's lighting, right? Lighting is the name of the game to me. So yeah, it's funny that I don't really think of things like color theory as much. Like obviously that I know color theory, right? I know of the concepts, right? I think of, right, like complement. I don't really think of them though, but complementary colors obviously exist, right? There's different names like triads and stuff, and I guess I think of warm and cool. That's like the concept that I think of the most, but I don't really think of color theory. I don't know. But I guess it's, yeah. I don't know where I was going with this random little art rant to end the stream. But yeah, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Hope to see you on Thursday, which is my next stream. I don't. I'll probably go. I'll probably end up doing the same sort of thing as I am today, which is um, thumbnailing, picking a thumbnail, all that, um, and then refining it. So yeah, that's what we did today. We started with these. These were our thumbnails. We voted. We picked number 4. I scaled it up. Obviously, the colors changed a ton. All this green has been removed. We only maintained a little bit of it down here. Right, so we maintained a tiny bit of the green down here. We could actually return it. I do like the green. I think it adds a nice look. But sparingly. A little bit of that green. Lovely moo corns today. Thanks. I appreciate it. All right, we are going to sign my name. Slap it up on the Twitter. Actually, let's type my name. It looks better. Oh no, it's backwards. Okay, hold on. Okay, real quick, I gotta edit this. Merge layers. Oh. There we go. Now, when I take this, we should... There we go. Perfect. My name is now there. Down in the corner. Let's make it a teeny tiny bit bigger. I don't really like big signatures, but I remember somebody saying, and I don't know how true it is, but I feel like I kind of recognize it. But I remember it was, they were put it very bluntly, and it was on like 6 years ago on a Level Up podcast. I guess it's a podcast, but somebody said something along the lines of like, um, the young earlier you are in your art journey, the bigger your watermarks are. You know, you slap it on the copyright sign on DeviantArt, right? You put huge watermarks everywhere, and then the longer you do art, the smaller your signature gets because it just isn't as important, and it's just a way. As long as your name's on it somewhere, it's good. But anyway, I always thought that was a funny take, and I kind of feel like that, but yeah. But I feel like nowadays with AI, and there's always some incentive to slap your name on it, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, what am I talking about? We're gonna end stream. Let's go raid somebody. Okay. We're gonna raid. We're gonna raid. Let's raid Chlor. Chlor does beautiful art. You guys probably know Chlor. She is fantastic. She is doing, ooh, just starting. I love raiding Chlor because she's always just starting stream when we're raiding. Which means anyone who wants to see art being made right in front of their eyes from the start can witness it in Chlor's stream. So that's what we love about her. Also, just she's super chill, good at art. Also, it does environments, which I also do, but she works in a very different way, right? She works very hard edge, lots of lasso tools, shape selections, layer modes, um, stamp brushes, right? She embraces the digital element of it, whereas I feel like sometimes obviously I'm using digital, but I treat it kind of as traditional. Like I oftentimes use a lot of blending, a lot of single layer. Obviously, use a lot of color dodge too, which is totally digital. So it's not like I'm on one end of that. But yeah. Anyway, take care. Copy paste the raid call if you'd like to. Say hello to Sam, aka Chlor, and yeah, hope you all have a good rest of your week. Take care of yourselves, and hope to see you on Thursday. See ya. Thank you again for the raids and for the follows and the subs and the donations and just kidding. No one did any of those. Yeah, thank you. See ya. Bye. Bye.